Good afternoon. I'd like to call this 4 o'clock study session of the Folsom Cordova Unified School District meeting to order. Rochelle, could you take roll, please?
Ms. Lopez Petraka. Here. Ms. Luong. Ms. Larrett.
Here.
Ms. Lofthouse.
Here.
Mr. Reed.
Here.
Mr. Chalam-Churla.
Here.
Mr. Clark.
Here.
Please note for the record, Ms. Luong is absent.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, well, we will go ahead and start this discussion on SFID number 3, new high school leaseback contractor selection. Superintendent.
Yes, sir. So I'll invite Sean Martin, our Assistant Super Business Services, to the microphone, or if you can present down there, sir, yeah. As a reminder to the board, on June 5th, we had a conversation as it related to the pre-construction services, and the board had some questions about our process, and we've since met with the Facilities Committee a handful of times, and today we are doing a presentation as it relates to that.
That is correct. Yes, thank you so much. And so, yes, for the next hour, we get to talk all about contracting services and our process for selection. And so, as Superintendent Swanson shared, this is a follow-up to the June 5th meeting when the item for the leaseback contract for the high school was brought forward to the board. As also Superintendent Swanson shared, we have had several meetings with the facility subcommittee with trustees Larrett and Reed with regards to our process. And so we reviewed the entire process. It was asked that we create this presentation to go over the entire process through, and actually the ratings that we used to select the contractor that we brought forward to the board, which was CORE. And so we're just going to walk through that entire process from start to finish for the team. And so we have the entire facilities team this evening with us, but majority of the conversation will be coming from Matt and myself. So again, because it's a study session, we're just going to do back and forth conversation, and you guys can stop us at any point. So the overview here, we're just going to go over the RFP process. So with regards to how we solicited out and the submissions that we received. And then we're going to go through the selection process. You can see there from the scoring and reference checks. With regards to skilled labor, we're going to speak a little bit more about that. And then also the subcontractor bidding process later on, which is further in the process, is actually not occurring at this time. And then any discussion that the board may have. So just to go over kind of a high level, because of the scope and the size of this project, we do have to follow contract code, and you can see that there. We post where it's all required, including our website. They have multiple trade journals that we post to, and then of course we communicate out with local contractors. One of the things I would like to share is with regards to the trade journals, when we submit to the trade journals, they then have distribution groups that then they send out to contractors, builders, developers. So there's blanketed coverage more or less through that process. That is the standard way, and in fact, it's called for that we have to post within those publications for that reason. A project of this size, $200 to $400 million project, when it's all said and done, most, I would say, any contractor or builder that does schools of any sort knew this project was coming, and we're well aware of it. And so many of them were reaching out to us of when we were even coming out with the RFP, just so you guys understand, kind of the standardized process for something of this nature. So.
Okay, Sean, just a quick question.
Sure.
Is Sacramento be the only print media that we put this out in, or do we do the local, like the Grapevine or the Telegraph? Is there a reason why?
I think for some smaller projects we may, but for something
not for something this big.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Sacramento Bee would be the one for that. Then it goes out to other exchanges, the builders exchanges, and then there's other publications that pick it up as well. And as like Sean mentioned, there's companies that all entities hire that scour every media, every newsprint, every publication that goes out for these kind of projects and other projects. And as Sean mentioned, a project of this size and scope has been well detailed and followed for a long time, so people are well aware of this going out. And as we'll share later on, there's certain qualifications you have to meet to be able to even qualify for a project of this size as well.
Great, thank you.
And that's kind of the next slide here.
Yeah, but just quickly though, knowing, Mr. President?
Yes.
Knowing this is such a big project, until we release the RFO, no one knows what's inside. But people are aware, oh, there is Folsom Cordova is going to build a high school/middle school or high school, whatever it is. We are not proactively doing any pre-solicitation things. That way, we are giving them the full scope, are we?
Well, the full scope?
Yeah, the scope of the project at high level.
Well, at this point, this is a pre-construction contract,
yeah.
and so the scope would be we're building a high school.
Yeah.
That information is actively communicated out. Yeah.
The RFP does provide a scope of work that is provided in there. It gives the estimated amount of the project, the scope of the project, the schedule of the project. So it does have that information in the RFP.
Yeah, the only catch is here. I mean, this is what I'm trying to learn and digest. And at the same time, I'm asking our facilities team also, especially this, the pre-construction is leading to the main RFP, RFO. So that's the only thing, whosoever is going to get in, this is what we talked also a couple of months ago, how well we are communicating to the entire, at least those people who are currently doing the business. I hear that we are publishing it, trade journals and all those. I understand from the other side of, I'm a bit bidder for state. I do understand that 2,000 people are watching, but only sometimes handful are doing. But when the departments are going out with the intent to invite the bids for those vendors who are doing this, the numbers are going way, way high, the people submitting the request. So that's the only one thing I think I did request our facilities team to add into this process of outreach. Again, lack of better words for all my discussions, cast the net wider.
I think we'll get into that a little later. We're going to talk about it because this is the RFP to get the general contractor on board that subsequently leads to those discussions of outreach, reaching out to the trade contractors, reaching out, because as this is the first part of it, is the pre-construction, it's building the contract, it's developing the VE, the constructability review, working with the architect in the district and the third-party VE firm to develop the project, to go through the project schedule, to look at all the details, the buildability of the project itself and how cost efficient it can be done. And then all these trade contractors will get together, they'll submit bids, which we'll get into later. And then that is put out for best value to determine the best possible guaranteed maximum price the district can receive based on receiving all of these bids, doing all this work up front. And that's why we do this process, is to make sure that we get the best value for the district. And we'll get into that a little bit more. This part also, they also have the contract ahead of time. So they see what the facility lease agreement looks like. They know the components in it. This is to approve the pre-construction agreement. Then there's a second amendment that goes back to the board that approves the guaranteed maximum price. And that's where the big dollar value comes in and the true savings, the value of the contract comes in. So that's the kind of the next phase to kind of get you through that. But we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I'm following you though, especially, sorry friends, this is, my passion even in state also. Pre-construction, in this kind of big projects, in general, under the DGS rules, they prohibit bidding on the big contract. As per again, there is 500 million contracts are going on.
And there are different entities,
right?
Yeah,
a majority of the states, departments, public departments, since you are already engaged, you are working internally, you are supporting all this work. When the big contract comes, those $300, $400 million, they cannot bid on the big ones. If there was a clause like this, I shouldn't have made this such thing, but we don't have that here. And historically, it is very close, whosoever is getting into pre-construction. Is that what we call this?
Yes.
Pre-construction. They have an edge high on winning that big $400 million contract.
For sure. That's,
So
that's the normal process.
That's the only thing, since we are defining the processes here. If we want to get into that, you know what, let's introduce that clause. Whosoever is getting into this pre-contract services can be put off on the big one, 400.
I would be hesitant to want to put that language in because that is not the methodology that we have in place. The pre-construction work, the whole purpose of it is you are pretty much selecting, you're right, you're more or less
Yeah.
selecting. But everybody that's bidding on it understands that they're bidding on that entire process. So I don't know if I agree with the concept that they need to be separate, right? I think the difference there is when you're talking about a vendor situation in the DGS, I assume you're having somebody build the system from scratch, meaning we're going to go and buy a database. We're going to create a new database. It's for the health department, right? And it's a $400 million database. Well, the person that's building that, designing that, right? You have someone design it or say, this is the structure, we're gonna build it out. Then you go pay, and then you now bid for that work, right? What you don't want is someone building it out that may create more money or make it strategically so that no one else can bid on it because they're the only one that have the technology for it. But in this case, we already have an architect that's actually doing the design work. The contractor in this case is not the one making the design. They're not the one that are saying, this is what you're going to build. They're there to do pre-construction audit of the architect to make sure that there is no issues with the construction, there is no conflict or walls are not in the right place. They're looking for efficiencies in the system. So we're getting them on earlier rather than just have just an architect do the work, then go out to bid, and then we have change orders and other issues because the architect has made mistakes. So I think that's a different methodology than what you're potentially speaking of with regards to a DGS type project. Again, because we have a separate entity with the architect, it's not as though they're building the scope of the project. They're there to almost be they are a support to the district with a second set of eyes. I think there's a difference between something where you're going out and you're doing design work. They're not doing the actual design, and that's the difference. And then they're not bidding on their own design. That's
True.
different. And so like where we've seen the state, and we can all speak to their I think it was either the workers' comp or the disability program where they spent hundreds of millions of dollars. Well, they hired somebody to build the program and design the program. They didn't have someone separate those things out. And I can see where that would be potentially a dangerous situation because they're then more or less creating the product and then deciding on how much it's going to cost and everything else, whereas that's not the case in our situation.
Yeah. Anyway, I know we have 34, thank you.
Yeah.
34 slides to go, and I want to make sure I respect my colleagues here, but I am not quite out there with that discussion here.
No problem.
But please.
Yep. Yeah, we'll keep going. Okay, and then, so at this point, we just want to share, the high school project are very, very rare. They are especially in the state of California, obviously. You can see there, the last project was West Park. I think prior to that, we didn't have anything until, I think it was pre-2010, right? Okay. And then just again, speaking to the fact of the scale and scope of this project, there are not very many contractors that actually even would qualify for the insurance to be able to, and the bonding that would be required to bid on this project. And so, in fact, we did have one contractor that combined with another one. And so they came together to be able to do the project and bid on the project. So, and you can see that we did get 6 submissions, and they were all considered responsive to meet the initial RFP requirements. And so here are the 6 firms. I think we've shared these names already with you guys before, but you are going to see their names over and over again in the fact that we're going to go through the evaluation process that was used with regards to the RFP. And so here's some information about each of the contractors. You can see some don't have high school experience. I think Otto was the only one that had no high school experience. On-site staff that had large-scale project, you can see there, 4 of the 6 had that. Large-scale experience just in general, all of them met those requirements. You can see their bonding capacity as well as their revenue as a company as well. So.
One thing about the bonding capacity also goes to being able to do multiple projects. If somebody's able to just bond, have just enough bonding capacity to do this project, then it really limits the scope on other projects they're able to concern. That's a concern to us too. We want to make sure somebody has enough capacity to be able to do that as well as multiple projects.
And so at this point, I'm just going to have Matt walk through the selection process and just answer any questions as they went through that.
Thank you. As Sean mentioned, we had 6 firms that were selected or that were submitted. They were all deemed generally qualified and skilled to construct a project based on the preliminary evaluation. The selection committee that evaluated was 7 evaluators, 5 district staff, 1 architect and 1 consultant. The committee evaluated both the written submission and subsequent interviews, all independently. The firms were then narrowed based on the evaluation, the written submission, to move on to a interview process. And then the best value score was an average of all 7 committee members' scores. So what we did is the RFP, we go through the RFP, we do initial evaluation. We determine the firms that meet the minimum qualifications and are best suited to determine a best value for the district moving forward for an interview. These 3 firms, here's some information as to why they did not continue to an interview. As you can see, all the way from limited information on technical expertise, project-specific plan, we'll get into more what that is. They lack maybe details on that. Project-specific plan goes into the schedule, the detail of the project, your logistics plan, how you approach the project, how you're going to conduct your constructability review of the plans, conduct value engineering studies. Those are all part of the logistics plan, project-specific plan, familiarity with the site, how you're going to attack grading, and just all kinds of different things. Some just did not provide the detail on how they were going to approach the project and how they were going to do that. Some don't have as much familiarity with high school projects. They just don't have as much experience doing high school projects. Those are determining factors that led us to the 3 contractors that we interviewed. As you can see here's the 3 contractors that moved on for interviewing. You can see a common thread here, strength of key personnel. That was a key component to look at. The people assigned to the project, have they done high school projects? Are they experienced doing high school projects? What type of work have they done in the past on large scale type projects? Ability to perform the project, and then looking at past performance. Have you completed high schools? Have you completed schools of this size, projects of this size? Have you completed projects on schedule, on budget, performance on the project? So, and then the strength of the specific plan. All of these had good specific plans that they provided to the district. So then we have scoring criteria, the rubric that's provided in the RFP, and each contractor who responded had to respond to each of these, and the points are dictated on here. So as I mentioned, the strength of personnel, as you can see some of the criteria that was provided in there. They also had to list their contractor name, have they had any litigation history, any fines. They had to list the resumes of all of the project personnel assigned to the project and specific projects they had worked on, applicable to the project, and experience that's applicable to the project. And you can see at the bottom the scores, 85 Balfour, 86 Core, and 75 Roland. So this is something that was specific to the strength of the personnel dedicated to the project. This was technical expertise. This category talks about skilled and trained workforce requirements, how they're able to meet those requirements. Building information modeling, how they do their technical work. They go in and do building modeling. They'll do clash detection, determine, are ducts interfering with any of the other conduits or any layouts or anything like that. What experience do you have in providing the software programs, schedule control? These are the kind of things that help for the pre-construction, because pre-construction is super important. If you have a good plan moving into the project, you perform your pre-construction activities, you can construct the project much more cost efficient. You have your schedules built into place, and all of your pre-construction activities are completed. As you can see on this core was the highest score in this category as well. Past performance, this was a big one. As you can see, it's 100 points. This is where you list all of the projects, and we list specifically what comprehensive high school project has the firm's key personnel assigned to the project completed. Have they completed on date? What was their final completion date? Did they have unused contingency dollars that returned to the owner? Were they efficient in the project? making sure that you return money, that you didn't have excessive change orders, timely completion of the project. All these kind of things were looked at, and they had to provide multiple projects that they had experience on, similar projects applicable to what our project was. And as you can see, Core also scored higher in this category.
Quickly, Matt, on the remaining three whom we are not using for scoring purpose, they do not have the past projects experience at all?
No, they had past project experience, but they didn't go to this is just the firms that were interviewed. So we provide the score. We have scoring for everybody. There's a score for everybody, and it was provided for each of the firms.
Yeah.
These were the three higher performings. These are the ones who went on to the interview. So we just highlighted these three firms since they moved on to the interview category and were deemed the most qualified for this project.
Yeah. In my mind, can this be the mandatory qualification even to get into the interview? If they don't have a previous high school building experience, they shouldn't be even interviewing.
And that's why some of the criteria that we looked at, have they completed a high school, if they haven't completed a high school, or if they haven't had staff assigned to their project complete a high school, that's one of the reasons why they would not have moved on to an interview.
So they have, okay.
These firms had were the most qualified based on the criteria to move forward to the interview.
Got it, thank you.
So just to confirm, so someone like auto construction that did not have a high school in their past, builds didn't move on to this.
They may have, but they may have had one high school, or they may have had a person who worked on a high school project or something like that. Whereas some of these firms had multiple high schools completed, multiple staff who have completed high schools on multiple projects. So it may be they have done something, but to the level of somebody who has multiple years of experience completing projects on multiple projects that are applicable to what we're doing.
Yep, makes sense.
Yeah, just to give you, Core completed 5 and Balfour completed 4. Probably they have a little less, I'm just thinking, how many they listed, because that's what our first bullet is on the left side, top corner, list all the projects.
It could come down to the project because we look within that, there's a project superintendent, there's a project manager, there's a project engineer. The staff assigned to that project may have multiple projects, high school projects that they've completed as well. So say Core completed 5 high schools, they may have staff underneath that have had 20 high school years of experience, 20 high school projects. Mm-hmm. So there's multiple layers to this that we have to look at. For a high school project, there's a lot of staff assigned to that. You're gonna have project managers, you're gonna have project superintendents, assistant superintendents, engineers, there's quality control managers, all those people. We wanna make sure the staff assigned to that project has had high school experience, as well as the company themselves having completed a high school. So there's multiple layers to this.
Okay, so this could be very well, Core might have done only 3, but Balfour might have done 5, but Core people has more experience whom they I'm just making an example here.
It could be. In this case, Core had more high schools.
Yeah.
But it could be that somebody maybe had less high school, but had a lot more people who had high school experience. It could be.
It could be.
Exactly. That's part of the evaluation process.
Okay. And do you have the scoring on the left bullets, Matt? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. Do you have first one? Okay, out of 100, split 100 into. Is that how you guys evaluated?
Well, we go through each category and determine a score based on meeting the qualifications of each of these bullet points. So it's not, each bullet point doesn't have a specific score. This category has a general score.
Thank you.
And it's applied accurately or evenly to each of the contractors.
Okay. Thank you.
So, and then a part of one of the things we met with the facility committee was doing reference checks and past performance and checking on the contractors who we move forward. And I personally called all the representatives of the projects that are checked here for each one of those to make sure that these contractors have completed these projects. Did they complete them on time? How were their pre-construction activities? How was their management of the project? Did they meet budgets? What was the quality construction? What is the follow-up, warranty issues, things like that? And generally, they all got high marks. Always, you're going to find somebody, you know, there's certain team maybe didn't quite mesh as well as another team, but for the most part, every one of these had really good marks, and Accor especially had very high marks. Balfour Beatty had good marks, and Roebling as well. You know, each one of those, there's a few little things here and there, but for the most part, they were all constructed very well. Another factor we look at is local experience. This places a weight on past leaseback experience and other local work within the district and the Sacramento region. It also talks about the familiarity with the leaseback methodology, other key local factors, local experience, key factor in that. As you can see on that one, actually Roebling did score higher, more likely because Roebling has been in the area for many more years, so they have more projects, and that is defined by that. So, you know, each category is weighted, and this is one of the categories based on local experience. It doesn't necessarily specifically say local experience related to high schools, but that is one of the factors. That's why it was close, but they had more local just because they've been here for much longer. Another we look at is safety. We look at their experience modification rate. They have to provide that for the last 3 years. Basically, that's what's reported for their, it sets our workers' comp rates. So we make sure that the firms have a good safety record, track record. So we look at their safety plans. There's a whole section on that, and there's a score attached to that. And as you can see, Core scored highest on that based on EMR rankings and other safety information that was provided. A price proposal, this price proposal, you understand, this one is just for the fee of them to construct the project and the general conditions costs, which is the general conditions costs are basically the staff and resources necessary to provide for the building of the school. You know, what is it going to take as far as the staff to build it? You know, your staffing costs, your contract, your superintendent, project manager, those kind of costs are put in that. So we ask them to provide that cost. This isn't what the guaranteed maximum price would be for the project. That would come later after all of trade contractors and subcontractor bids come in. So this is a small percentage of the overall project that we have asked for a cost. This helps determine how much a cost would be based on how many millions of dollars a project would be. And we had a formula applied in, and as you can see, it was pretty even as far as this component between all three contractors. Project-specific plan, I kind of covered this a little bit earlier. This is the firm's approach, how they're going to build the project, how they approach it, how they develop the schedule. They guarantee us that this project can be built according to the schedules provided. They actually list a detailed schedule to us. They go through their value engineering, how they're planning to look at some cost efficiencies in the project. There's any other issues. They might look and say, we anticipate some supply chain issues. This is where we talk about tariffs. They might have done work on the site ahead of time and say, we anticipate some issues with underground utilities, working with local utility companies and being upfront on that. Talk about early procurement. There's a lot of factors that go into determining scoring into this category. As you can see on this one, Core had the highest plan and approach for the project. The last scoring category is the financial capability. This is the one we kind of talked about earlier, their ability to be able to finance the project, their bonding capacity based on the size of the firm. This one, a lot of it typically, if you're a larger firm, you're going to have a larger bonding capacity, and the scores typically reflect that. So, summary of key factors influencing scoring. As we mentioned, I kind of summarize it. Qualifications on the day-to-day site personnel, people who are going to be on the site every day. That's really key. That's important. Who's going to be on that site? Who's experienced to build it? Have they built this before? Have they done it before on time, on schedule, on budget? And that's looking at the past performance, looking at the project-specific plan, their technical expertise, local experience, and financial performance. Those factors were all put together to determine the final scoring, and that's what you see here. We have all the categories, we have all the scoring, and best value score was determined to be Core. That was determined by all of the people who did the interviewing of all the firms. So all 7 individual committees came together, and this was the score as determined by the committee.
Any further questions on that before we go on to talk a little bit about skilled labor? All right, we'll just keep on rolling through. And so this is the actual government code that speaks to the skilled labor requirements. One of the things we spoke to was the fact that all of the contractors would be required to follow this law and that they would have to have the skilled labor requirements. The next couple slides are just the actual language with regards to what is skilled labor. Again, all of the contractors completed the documents ensuring that they would use skilled labor as required. I know that we had representatives from the labor organizations sharing that they had concerns about that. The concern was that the contractor corps at that time had not been a signatory to the trade organization, more or less, and I can't speak to the very specifics of those relationships or not. I will share that is, now they are signatories.
Carpenters and laborers.
Both carpenter and to labor
Carpenters
union.
and labor.
But even if they were not, I would share that on the projects that they did when it came to their subcontractors, over 90% of the subcontractors were union organizations, right? They have to meet the labor code requirements regardless if they're a signatory or not. And so just something to keep in mind in that process. I know, when we had the orange vests here, they were speaking as though they would not have that skilled labor requirement, but they would have. So that's just a quick summary, but I think that is a moot point at this point at this time. So that's just more about that. So we're just going to kind of blow through all of this because the skilled labor I think was a big concern, but I think it's not at this point. So do you want to talk about subcontractor work?
Sure. So this might go to some of the things that we talk about to ensure that there's competitive pricing within the project. So this is the public contract code does require that there's a competitive bid component requirement to this process. So whatever the proposer, the contractor that is provided, they have to assure that there is good pricing within the subcontract field. So they will send out the notice and publication to subcontractors as required. Establish the criteria and the standards are required. MEP, the mechanical, electrical, plumbing subcontractors must be pre-qualified. That's by code. We must award subcontractors based on the best value or lowest responsible bidder. So once they're selected, then they're also afforded the protections of the public contract code. So once they're selected, the pre-construction services are completed, subcontractors are selected, the lease back provided in their district, then a final price is provided and it'll be approved by the board. So that final price still has to be approved by the board, the final guaranteed maximum price after all subcontractors have been vetted out and a best value provided. And this is where we have the competition component of it. And let me just kind of go into a little bit of how each of these firms look at it, and probably just since we're talking about CORE, we'll probably talk about specifically how they do it because it's similar, but CORE doesn't self-perform the work. So also by not self-performing, it increases competitive bidding because now you have more subcontractors available to bid on these projects by not self-performing. This also helps the local trade contractor community. They have deep-rooted relationships with the trade partners. They also have a 12-step outreach process, which we'll get into. They host trade partner fairs. This is similar to a lot of them do, but they do a lot of outreach onto the community, trying to solicit. This is where the solicitation you talk about, getting all these trade contractors, getting interest in the project, talking about what's coming up in the future. These are ongoing activities that happen all the time with the trade contractor community, because that's really where you're going to get your value. 90% of what your GMP is going to be is based on these competitive bid and getting true value from your trade contracts, and having those relationships with them is very important. So speaking with CORE, here's what they visit the community. They work with trade partners, educate them on the projects. Not only this project, but all the projects in the community. So they're aware of what projects are coming, develop those relationships, how you work with the companies, how the culture of the company works. You start developing those relationships and then you start working with them, and it builds to more projects and it builds to more relationships and it builds to better projects. So they host partner fairs, outreach engagement, talk about the bidding process and provide more details and objectives about the project. So they get to learn about the project, what the project entails. You know, maybe somebody doesn't know about their project, they invite them to come in, let's have a trade fair and let's talk about the projects and the type of things coming up. A lot of it might be there's multiple projects coming up, but schedules, maybe this, like electrical contractor or a certain concrete contractor, there's a schedule on certain phases of each one of them. They don't need to all be on one project at one time, so they can phase them out, determine which might be on best. And they may have multiple projects where it works out, they're bidding on multiple projects, but it works out for their schedule. So it's just having that kind of information that helps share with the trade contractors. Also, I think I missed, here's the 12-step outreach program. And this is something that CORE does, kind of goes into the research of the projects, outreach, advertise, publicly advertise. You'll see in the B too, you'll see trade contractors advertising in the B and other trade associations for people, looking for people to bid on these projects. And projects like this that are a long time frame, they're very desirable. So we want to get a lot of people on it and more trades. They'll educate them at trade fairs. They'll talk about it. They'll go through the pre-qualification process, help them through that, make sure they understand they have to be pre-qualified, especially mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, as I mentioned, must be pre-qualified. Then they issue requests for proposals. So this is a request for proposals and bidding out all of these trades. So all these trades, they'll have multiple bids. Then they'll hold meetings to make sure they understand what each of these trades mean, what each one of these contracts are. Those are received. All clarifications are provided. Then in bid day, all sealed bids are received. And then from there, they review all the bids, all the trade contractors, make sure they're responsive and responsible bids. And from there, a guaranteed maximum price. And also, this is all open book and it's reviewed with the district. We'll review all those and we'll determine the best value contractor and a guaranteed maximum price for the district. So that's pretty much the process. And we'd like to, if there's any questions, we'd be more than happy to entertain those.
All right, any questions from the board?
I did not have any questions. I had a couple of comments. One thing is I really, on the 12-step process, really liked the review step. I know that YK and I had spoken about that. It's part of like a process that SMUD usually does with that pre-questions and things like that, so that there's a lot of clarity with that. I really appreciate you guys putting this together because we did not really have a scope of all of this back-end work and things like that of how this process works. And I think that this just brings a lot of transparency, first of all, to the board so that we feel comfortable with signing off, and it brings a lot of transparency to the public of the scoring process and different things like that. And I also do appreciate, and it's like, I know we are consistently talking about costs and things like that, that cost isn't the primary motivator for us selecting a vendor, because especially with a project of this scope, the quality has got to be the paramount. The timeliness of the project has got to be met. And so I do appreciate the scoring weight to those items versus scoring it heavily on the price portion of it, because I feel like the price portion of it, at least in this process, comes at the later date when they do the bidding process with their partners for the actual builds. So just wanted to thank the team for really like putting this together. I know that we kind of sprung this on you, and I appreciate this level of detail, and like hope that this is the kind of detail that we'll get going forward, so that we can just have a lot of clarity as we move forward in these future discussions, since we do have so many facility conversations happening at this point right now.
All right, thank you, Jen. Matt, Sean, Jerry, Joanne, and Terry, thank you guys. I'm assuming that you were the 5 that were on part of this committee. And this is something that we needed, right? I mean, just to actually dig deep and break everything down so it just doesn't come to us to say, this is what we have. I think the board was kind of hungry to find out the process, which obviously was broken down here. My colleague YK asked some pertinent questions about how it was done. So I just appreciate each and every one of you for what you did. Any other questions or comments from the board?
I still have some more. I'm just giving it to my colleagues because it's important. They all go.
I'm good. I'd be repeating the same thing, so.
Perfect. All right.
No,
go
Mr.
ahead.
President. Yeah, I'm respecting because I already, took quite a bit of time at the beginning. On slide 18, if you don't mind, please, Matt. So I know I'm looking at the total points of this contract evaluation is, what's it approximately? It's 500? The total weightage of the scoring for the entire proposal is about 500 points or
Something
400
yeah,
points? 510?
Okay.
Yeah. 50 points on the cost. I hear what my friend Jen said. 50 point out of 500. We need to beep up. Again, I'm just putting it. This is a process thing. We are talking after the facts here. Yes, I agree on the quality and the people, and no doubt about it. And especially, some vendors, they come lowballing and come after change orders, for understand totally. I mean, that's where the vetted process is. That's my, quick question and feedback as well on this thing.
Can I respond to
as
that?
is, just for 10% of the total bid value.
I understand.
Yes.
One of the reasons why the scoring point is a little less on this one is because this is just for the fee and the general conditions cost, which is a minor component. If we have competitive leaseback projects that we do where we ask for a GMP. On those, the scoring is much higher because it is a higher component of it. So there's two different components of a leaseback process. That's why when the GMP comes into play, it's a much larger component of the process. And so we didn't want to value the points being the hardest because it's the best value and we want to have the best value. This part of it was, since it was a low component of it being just the fee and GC, that's why the points were reflective of that.
My statement is, in general.
Yeah, okay.
This is my opportunity to talk about this procurement process, and I do have some questions to my colleagues on the. I know David mentioned a couple of meetings ago those 10 points for the process for improvements. I was nodding my head, all along. If you can replay the video of that meeting. Most of the points, you guys were, you both, Jen and you, were discussing with the team and future. But that's where the hard point is that for the future or here, this is uncertain for me, but we can talk that later. That doesn't have to be here. But in general, that's why I'm bringing this, 10% is too low. Whatever the project you take, it doesn't matter to me. 10% is too low. I just want to put that. If you ask me, at least go 1/3. If you ask me, you still have a 2/3 in your hands to validating the quality, materials, people. That's 2/3 is a lot.
We are working on, as we shared, the projects that were already in process, we're going to use this system,
Yeah.
but we are going to be updating the scoring process as well. So we'll be bringing that to the facility subcommittee and reviewing that with them. So
Yeah. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you. And I know I'm fully not there to understand on the other one, page 30, subcontractor costs. It is going to come down the road, not right now. After all this done and how this is, that's where the actual cost is going to be for building the high school.
Absolutely.
From the leveling to all the way up and running, right? And is that after we pick the prime vendor and he goes for sub? If you can explain a little bit.
So during the whole process, the contractor will be going through the pre-construction process as we're developing the plan. So the architect is developing the plans. They do their schematic design, they do their design development, then they do their construction documents. After construction documents are complete, it goes to the Division of State Architect for approval. Throughout that process, we're working collaboratively on how best to build the project, how we look at the plans, telling the architect how they could perhaps provide a better material, or different materials that are more cost efficient, how they could build it better, maybe mechanical systems, how some of the structural systems could be provided. And then we'll go through some value engineering options and determine, okay, how, maybe we need to reduce the cost by
Yeah.
$17 million. Let's go through a VE exercise, and they'll go through and say, here are 30 items that you can do to reduce the cost. Some of them might be painful items, some might be easy items. We'll go through that exercise. Once we have a full set of complete plans approved, the contractor will then go out to the subcontractor community and solicit bids for all of the trades. There might, for high school, there's gonna be a bunch of trades. There could be 30, 40 bids coming in, because you're gonna get your concrete, you're gonna get all your site electrical, and then there's sub bids coming in for low voltage. So there's a lot of bids that come in. They will then vet all those sealed bids come in, determine the best value based on all of these competitive bids, and they will submit to the district a guaranteed maximum price. At that time, the district then has to approve it by amendment in the facility lease contract. It has to go back to the board to approve that guaranteed maximum price. If the board doesn't accept it, then we go back out, or we do something different. But at that point, that is the process. So it's developing the plans, the best possible plan, working all the way through it, getting the plans approved, soliciting bids, getting the best trade contractors that are working with the trade community, soliciting information, promoting the project, making sure there's lots of involvement from the trades bid it. We have a guaranteed maximum price, and that's presented to the district with hopefully the best value that we can possibly get for this project.
Good. During that process, whomsoever we are going to pick now as a pre-construction, they are going to be heavily involved, number one. And number two, they are going to bring their expertise based on all the scoring done, on the prior contract, to put that requirements, lack of better word, I'm using the word scope of work or requirements for those sub-work, flooring, for example, scope of work.
Correct.
Plumbing, scope of work. And that's where we take the inputs from the vendor from this contract?
Yes, they are experts at getting subcontractors, working with subcontractors, explaining the work to subcontractors, making sure the scopes are identified, there's no scope gaps, making sure that all work is covered between all of the trade contractors. So that's their job. They make sure that everything is covered. So we don't have a bid coming in. Sometimes we'll get a hard bid and something's missing, and they'll come back for a change order. Said, we forgot in between scopes to include something in there. So this, by having somebody in there who's an expert in this, they'll make sure that those things are all covered within trade, so we don't have any surprises. And remember, this is a guaranteed maximum price, so it's within the contract, within contingencies. This is the price you have. So you don't have all these, change orders you don't know at the end. You know what you're going to get, and you know what the price is going to be.
Okay, thank you. I know, Mr. President, I do see, two gentlemen sitting in the audience. This is in terms of the process discussions we are having, but it is so happened you are one of the vendor here. I just want to acknowledge that I am talking personally on the process things. Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right, any other questions from the board? All right, with that being said, again, thank you, team, for everything, and we will go ahead and adjourn this special closed session, study session. We'll just gavel out. To closed session where we were here, personnel matters, attorney conference, if we have any, and then we'll come back out and open our meeting at 6 o'clock. Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.
All right, today is Thursday, August 14th. I'd like to call this meeting of the Folsom Cordova Unified School District to order. Superintendent, if you can call roll.
We'll have Rochelle.
Oh, Rochelle.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll get used to that.
Ms. Lopez Petracca? Here. Ms. Luong? Here. Mr. Chalam Churla?
Yes, sorry.
Ms. Larrett?
Here.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Here.
Mr. Clark?
Here.
Please note for the record, Ms. Larrett is attending remotely.
All right, thank you, ma'am. With that, we'll start with our land acknowledgement.
As the Folsom Cordova Unified School District, we acknowledge that our administrative facilities and schools occupy the unceded territory of the Nishanan and Miwok, the original people of the skies, land, and waters where we work and learn.
We also recognize the presence and ancestral stewardship of the Nishanan ancestral tribes, the Esto, Notamuse, and Nisim Pewanan to the north.
And the Miwok ancestral tribes, the Amachumne, Consumne, Holopune, and Mokalumne to the south along the Great Sacramento River system since time immemorial.
We understand that this land upon which our institutions are built was once flourishing with natural resources and sustained by the ancestral knowledge and practices of these indigenous communities.
We acknowledge the injustices of colonialism and attempted genocide that have impacted these communities and recognize the resilience of their descendants who continue to thrive today.
In our daily endeavors of teaching, learning, leadership, and community engagement, we commit to supporting, respecting, and honoring their culture, traditions, and life ways.
We pledge to work together for the evolving vision of the Miwok and Nishanan, especially all future generations.
All right, thank you. With that, we will start with lead with the pledge. Mr. Martin, if you'd be so kind to lead us.
Stand, hand over heart, ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. All right. A broadcast statement recording is being made at the direction of the board, and the broadcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. Tonight's meeting is being live streamed on the district's YouTube channel. The recording will be a cablecast as replays on Metro Cable Channel 14, the Local Government Affairs channel on Comcast, and the Direct TV Uverse cable systems. The recording will also be closed captioned and video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. The Folsom Cordova Unified School District Board Policy 1313 promotes mutual respect, civility, orderly conduct among employees, parents, and the public. We will treat staff, parents, and members of the public with respect and ask the same in return. If any member of the public uses obscenities or communicates in a demanding, loud, insulting, and/or demeaning manner, the board will calmly and politely admonish the person to communicate civilly. Public comments during board meetings are an important component of public engagement and transparency. Members of the public will not be permitted to yield their speaking time to another member of the public. All written comments submitted by 3 p.m. today to the board have been read, and per the Brown Act, the board is not allowed to enter into a two-way discussion on any matter not on the agenda. With that, we'll go to item 7, reporting out of closed session. Superintendent?
Nothing to report.
All right, thank you, sir. Item number 8, adoption of agenda.
I'd like to make a recommendation, and I know that Rochelle has one as well. I would like to recommend to the board if we could pull discussion action item A and have that discussed and acted upon immediately following our consent agenda.
Any consensus from the board? Or any
Fine.
comments?
Good.
Good, yep.
Thank you,
We're
board.
at it. All right, still entertain a motion? Or Rochelle, did you have?
Charlie's checking something.
Okay,
I'll make the motion, including the superintendent's recommendation to move the discussion item.
I'll second.
moved by Board Member Reed, second by Board Member Charlem. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Lorette?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
and Mr. Clark.
Aye. All right, this is actually a special moment for us as we introduce our two student board members. If they can step down off the dais and meet the superintendent at the podium, we'll get this show on the road.
All right, really excited. We got new faces on the dais, not only Rochelle's, but we have our two new student board members here, Eveline and Addie. And so we're going to take the oath of office. So please raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Addie Luong,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against enemies, foreign and domestic,
against enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation for purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation for purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
that I will and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Like we practiced, that was awesome. Great job, guys, welcome.
All right, before you come on the dais, I'd like the board to come down and we'll take an official group shot.
And then for anybody who wants to take a picture, they are not going to move until I get my picture right there. All right, look up here, please, cheese. And then please stay for other photos, please. Please. Cheese. Thank you.
1, 2, 3, and cheese. Perfect.
Sorry.
Okay.
A silly one.
You already look like you live in West.
All right. Well, there's no presentations. We will move on to item 10, agenda consent.
A motion.
Mr. Clark, we have a request to have an item pulled.
Sure.
We have item R.
Okay, item R, approve revised board bylaws, BB 9240. As a request, I'm assuming from the community to have that item pulled, Superintendent?
Yes, sir, it is from the community.
All right. We'll pull it and we'll open it up for discussion. And is there a comment that we need?
Yeah, I think we'll do, if you don't mind, Mr. President, if we vote on consent, we'll take the, we'll do the one item, we'll do my one discussion action item, we'll do the introductions.
Yep.
And then we'll come back to that consent R item.
Do it.
Does that feel
Let's do
good?
it. Yep.
Okay.
I feel good about that. All right. So I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move that we adopt consent with the exception of item R that will be handled separately.
All right. Thank you.
I'll second.
All right. Moved by Board Member Reed, second by Board Member Lofthouse. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Superintendent, I do believe that you have a couple of announcements.
Well, let's, if you don't mind, sir, I'd love to bring up a discussion action item A, which I am recommending to the board that we approve the employment contract for the Assistant Superintendent of Student Services. This is a 3-year contract for Dr. Shauna Pitt for a yearly salary of $251,000 and $251 and $828. So I'm happy to answer any questions because this is a discussion action item.
All right. Any questions from the board? We'll take it out to the public. None online? I'll bring it back to the board. Any additional questions and or motion?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Moved by Board Member Lofthouse, second by Board Member Reed. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Long?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, ma'am. And Superintendent?
All right, with the adoption of the consent agenda and item A from discussion action, we are going to welcome some new teammates and some past teammates that have been promoted into new roles. So I would love to invite Sydney Volstek up to the microphone. We're pleased to announce Sydney as the Expanded Learning Program Supervisor for the 25-26 school year. Sydney brings a wealth of experience in public and nonprofit education and leadership, along with a dynamic blend of passion, commitment, and a vision for student success. Over the past 9 years, she has held a variety of educational roles, most recently providing speech therapy services and directing specialized camp programming at Growing Healthy Seasons Therapy Services. She brings a strong and relevant skill set that aligns with the needs of the FCUSD community. Quote, I am honored and excited to join the Expanded Learning Programs team, says Sydney. I look forward to making meaningful impacts with students, staff, and the FCUSD community as a whole. Ms. Volstek holds a Bachelor of Science in Communication Sciences and Disorders from the University of Wisconsin, and I don't know how to say EAU, Claire. Oh, Claire, thank you. A speech language pathology assistant certificate program for American River College and a professional certificate in assistive technology from Cal State University Northridge. Her academic accomplishments reflect a dedication to lifelong learning and continued professional development. Please join us in welcoming Ms. Volstek to Team FCUSD as we embark on a journey of growth and achievement under her leadership.
Thank you all. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. All right, next up, Sean Kivley. We'd like to welcome Sean. Pleased to announce that Sean has been selected as the assistant principal at Kinney and Prospect Community Day School. Ms. Kivley brings nearly 30 years of experience in education with a strong background in teaching and learning schools that serve diverse student populations. Her career spans both elementary and middle school classrooms, as well as multiple site leadership roles. She began her journey with Folsom Cordova in 2001 as a third grade teacher at Cordova Meadows Elementary School. Since then, she has taught at W.E. Mitchell Middle School and served as the intervention teacher at Natoma Station Elementary and Peter J. Shields Elementary. Most recently, she led mathematics instruction across TK to high school. In 2002, Ms. Kivley stepped into the role of interim principal at Peter J. Shields Elementary and has also served as an administrative designee, further demonstrating her commitment to leadership and service. Known for her warm personality, welcoming smile, and ability to build meaningful connections with students, families, and staff, Ms. Kivley embodies a spirit of reflection and optimism. She lives by the belief that gratitude is a practice that shifts your focus from what your life lacks to the abundance that is already present. a quote by Brene Brown that guides her approach to education leadership. Ms. Kivley holds a Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Studies from CSU Fresno and a Master's of Science in Educational Leadership from National University. She is excited to join the Kinney Prospect community and looks forward to supporting its students and staff. Hi.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm very grateful to have this opportunity and can't wait to build the capacity in our alt ed sites with the reimagining piece. So I'm very grateful for that and loving it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sean. Folsom Cordova Unified School District is pleased to welcome Doyle Martin as the new principal of Sandra J. Gallardo Elementary School. Mr. Doyle Martin brings 20 years of educational experience to FCUSD community. For 12 of those years, Mr. Martin served as a principal in the Sacramento City and Lincoln Unified School Districts. As a classroom teacher, he taught grades K-8 and English language learner intervention teacher and a reading intervention specialist. Mr. Martin grounds his leadership in building relationships. His philosophy is that in a great school, every child is seen, known, and supported, not just by one teacher, but by the entire community of caring adults. A quote you will see posted on his wall from Simon Sinek: "A team is not a group of people who work together. A team is a group of people who trust each other." Mr. Martin has a Bachelor of Arts in Journalism from San Diego State University, where he was also born and raised. He has his Master of Arts from National University in Educational Leadership. Currently, Mr. Martin is enrolled in University of Pacific, finishing up his doctorate of education, where his dissertation topic is imposter syndrome and adolescence. Mr. Martin, his wife Carolyn, and their 5 kids, only one of which has permission to be here tonight. Okay, and 2 dogs live in Sacramento. Please join us in welcoming Mr. Martin to the FCUSD family and Sandra J. Gallardo Elementary School.
Thank you, Superintendent Swanson, Board President Clark, and distinguished board. I appreciate this opportunity. I'm rushing out of here because I have back to school night that started at 6 o'clock. Yeah. So that's why I'm leaving, because I want to try and catch the first, second, and third graders the last end of back to school night. So that's why you're not going to see me sit down. I'm going to get out of here and head to back to school night and kiss some babies, shake some hands, and say hello. So thank you, and I really appreciate it, and I'm beyond ecstatic, and I can't leave without thanking my wife, Carolyn, and my daughter, Emily May, for being here with me. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, I would like to mention Jason Stricker, who is not able to be with us tonight. He's currently our special education manager tonight in the consent agenda. You all approved Jason to be our next executive director of special education in SELPA. He's sad that he can't be here, but I just wanted to make sure to honor him and his commitment to our district and our special education team. So if we could give him a round of applause. Last and certainly not least, Folsom Cordova is pleased to announce Dr. Shauna Pitt as the Assistant Superintendent of Student Services. Dr. Shauna Pitt brings a depth of experience and a strong commitment to educational equity and innovation. With over 2 decades of experience in various educational roles, including Director of Social Emotional Learning at Folsom Cordova Unified School District, and most recently as the Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services at the Sacramento County Office of Education, Dr. Pitt has demonstrated a passion for creating supportive learning environments where students thrive. Dr. Pitt began her career as a high school English teacher and literacy coach in the Los Angeles Unified School District, and later served as a co-founder and principal of a charter school in New Orleans. Her work has consistently focused on equity, whole child development, and instructional leadership. Quote, "I believe all children can learn, and it's our responsibility to create the conditions that make that possible," said Dr. Pitt. "I'm excited to join a dedicated team committed to building learning environments that are innovative, inclusive, and focused on preparing students with the knowledge, skills, and choices they need for life after graduation." Dr. Pitt holds a PhD, a master's, and a bachelor's from Stanford University, and an MS in educational leadership from Pepperdine. Outside of work, she enjoys spending time outdoors in nature and her blended family, her husband, and their 4 children. Join us in welcoming Dr. Pitt home to Team FCUSD as we embark on a journey of growth and achievement under her leadership.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here, and it definitely feels like coming home. I hope to do you all proud. And none of my kids were allowed to come tonight, just for the record. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Shauna. All right.
We good?
Yeah, we just have the one item from consent.
All right, and that is item R, I believe. Yes, it is. All right, Superintendent?
Yeah, item R was approving two bylaws, one on board training, which is aligned to our ethics training and the conflict of interest. And I believe we have a public comment.
Yes, we have Earl Smith.
Good evening, Board, Superintendent Swanson, and the district. You know, there's lots of things we say. And I will say tonight, probably more out of all the board meetings, I feel more heard than anything. For instance, new Principal Martin and our new Assistant Superintendent. Thank you. For that, I'm gonna take this off. Thank you. I come with heavy words because as their exampleship of leadership, education, great example for our kids, people of color who are educated. You know, being in a board seat holds high expectation from our kids. You set the example. So R is about conflict of interest. And this is something that I've learned quite some time ago and has bothered me. But Ms. Laird, I know that your business supplies jerseys and shirts and things like that to the district. Isn't that a conflict of interest? I can't find that in here in the board policy regarding board members selling merchandise to the district. But I believe that would be a conflict of interest. I don't think any board member should benefit financially from the district because they're there to serve the district. So I would like to see some of that language added in this policy here of the conflict of interest, 9270. The other thing I want to mention is I don't believe a teacher should be in an authority position and require a booster to give for each jazz band registration for California Jazz Championships and required on the syllabus that all students attend, $750. Jazz choir, who also performs, $750. Jazz combo, also $750. Those are three different items that must go. It's in the syllabus, they're required to go. The teacher is an owner of that. So it's this money coming from the booster, coming from the district is going to pay a teacher's business. That's also a conflict of interest. In my opinion, quite shame. Because I've brought this up before. It's not being addressed. So
20 seconds remaining, Mr. Smith.
I just would like some language put regarding teachers and board members benefiting financially from the district. I don't think it's right. Thank you.
Thank you.
What a pleasant sound
No, right?
compared to the old sound.
Relaxing. All right, so with that, we'll have to, I believe, entertain a motion on that, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, any comments from the board?
Yeah, I'll make a comment on that since it was directed towards me. This was actually something, as far as if I'm gonna be called out on being ethical, that I raised immediately when I came to the board and had both of our superintendents actually and Mr. Martin look into this directly with legal, and do want to just make clarification that, first of all, I make zero ownership in the business that I'm in, so I do not personally gain financially from anything as far as that goes. And as far as like uniforms go, we actually have a BSN requirement to be ordering our uniforms through those. So I have provided things to like individual PTAs that have asked, and we've had some schools that have asked for like science fair t-shirts and things like that. But again, I do not have any ownership, and I did run this by legal, in fact, not one time, but two separate times on this particular issue. So just wanted to give some clarification on that particular topic.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board?
I can also speak to it. Just being on the board policy committee, it was something that we did look into pretty in depth. So I'm confident moving this forward.
All right, thank you.
So just for me as a newbie though, conflict of interest and holding the roles in the district.
Yeah.
Is that, I know, I'm looking for the words here, right? Perception is also, one big thing here as well. Thanks, Jen, for clarifying. Otherwise it is a perception in the people's, right? You don't own that company. But still, though, if you are owning that company, then how? So that's the...
I can speak to that too,
Yes,
because
yes.
I've been in a personal situation where I do own a business where I could have potentially financially gained from the district, and I had to say no because of that. So because I am the owner of that business. So we cannot, as board members, financially gain from the district in any way. So
we do have the policies, tightened, even though it is not in this specific paragraph here. Okay. I want to make sure, we want to be sensitive and, public is listening and everybody is listening if we are not in that business here. Okay, thank you.
All right, with that being said, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion for item R.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Moved by Board Member Lofthouse, second by Board Member Charlam-Chella. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petracca? Aye. Ms. Long? Aye. Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett? Aye. Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, item 11, public comment. Time will be given to speakers at the discretion of the board chairperson. The law allows the public to address the board on any matter not on the agenda, but the law prohibits action by the board on non-agenda items. With that being said, public comments?
Yes, we have two. First is Faith Smith, followed by Earl Smith.
Hello, my name is Faith Smith, and I'm a senior at Folsom High School. First, real quick, I want to add, I wasn't originally going to say this, but I'm going to say this now. The California Jazz Championships that asked for $750, we were talking about the jazz band teacher currently who puts in the syllabus that they have to go to that, which is run by the Live Performing Arts Academy, which is ran by both Mr. Curtis Gazer and Ms. Cal Williams. So I just want to put that out there first. Okay, so every year at Folsom High School, I have had to fight for my education, as you guys know already. I was denied from continuing my education in jazz violin, and I was denied from singing, when I have proved in many ways that I am good enough and that I belong, as I did last board meeting. I have started my college applications, and one of my questions asked is, what educational barrier have you faced that you worked to overcome? Of course, I wrote about this situation that I have told you about over and over again. As I was writing, I started to cry, just from remembering what had happened and having to write about it in great detail. I'm now in the jazz choir, which I'm glad I am, and I'm glad that everyone got accepted this year. However, when I'm in class, I think about how I was robbed of the opportunity these past years. Now you would think I'm done fighting for my education, but no, I'm still not allowed to enroll in the jazz band on violin. I talked to my counselor the first day of school about it, and she said that since it is audition-based, she has to wait on Mr. Cadenhead, who then told her that he was waiting on Superintendent Swanson. However, I found out that, Mr. Swanson, you were not aware of this situation. Once again, Principal Cadenhead has failed to communicate, resulting in my education being put on hold. It's already been on hold for 3 years, and he can't even be considerate enough to just send an email so my education can be taken off hold. That's the principal at Folsom High School. One that does not care for a student who has been constantly trying to communicate to him, yet he can't comprehend or even listen to me. It's always gone in one ear and out the other with him. Like I said, college applications are already here, and I have a month and a half to prepare for my audition videos. Being in the jazz band now can still have its part in helping me, but if this does not get fixed right away, then why should I stay at Folsom High School? My friends are there, but I'm not able to get the education that I need. It's been nice seeing the change I've pushed to be made, seeing the staff finally acting nice compared to when I first started, finally having a Black general education teacher, there's only one, and finally having the principal admit the truth that it wasn't a practice room, but a closet I was made to go in. However, there is still much change needed, and you couldn't even fix one student's pathway, even now, especially when I've been constantly communicating to you. I am also still upset about last board meeting because 2 of you did not vote in favor of not rehiring the campus monitor. Board Member Reed, you abstained. Many think that staying in the middle is beneficial, but actually it just creates enemies on both sides of the situation. And Board Member Larrett, even worse, you voted no. As a woman, I would think that you would side with those who were sexually assaulted. Many don't realize that most crimes have excuses. Murder can be self-defense, stealing can be due to lack of money and high need, while sexual assault is a conscious decision with absolutely no reasonable excuse.
20 seconds remaining.
I'm extremely disappointed not only that you both voted in that way, but that you both sit up here. I told you that the #1 priority is the students, as Superintendent Swanson agrees. And you both actively and consciously showed everyone that you are not with the students and that you side with the staff, but not good staff, staff that have violated policy multiple times.
Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Could I get 30 more seconds or 20 more seconds, please? Okay. You should not be on the board, and I no longer have respect for you both. It disgusts me that you sided with someone so horrible. And Superintendent Swanson, now that you know we are waiting on you, are you going to remove the barrier between me and my education, or are you going to become a part of my college application too? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
Good evening, Board, Mr. Swanson and the district. I don't even know what to say. But I know now that the board is responsible. I sent that email, my friend Evan is in there. So now you see. I'm not a person of talk. I spent a year talking, but it's really out of my character. I'm a person of action. I let my actions do the talking. But you can't be a district that says we support students, we support education, and sit there and ignore. I've provided a lot of information on the matter and the legal ground that provides a pathway based on the law that faith should not be denied for violin. It's not a teacher's preference of what student sits in their class. We're going back to the South, the old ways. Are we? I mean, it's wild to think they hold an audition or classes so they can be good enough for extracurricular activities by overlooking the fact that it's a curricular class. My friend Evan was like, wow. I went to college with him. He's a piano performance major, so he understands music. We've been good friends. I'm friends with both his father and his mother. His father was the one to direct me to have the services so I can get sole custody of faith. It's a simple matter. I look at another student that graduated last year. His senior year, still, if you're with the district, 4th and 5th grade on your instrument, middle school on your instrument, playing jazz, 3 years in high school playing jazz, and then your final year, you still don't get to be in the A band? Is that the student who's not at the skill level or the teacher who fails to teach? Every senior should have an opportunity to be in the A band and get to go to the fancy field trips. They're going to, what's the last field trip they're going this year? Essentially Ellington, that's Duke Ellington. Duke Ellington had a violin player in his jazz big band. And yet you guys will not provide a pathway so she can play violin. She has had some great opportunities this summer, but I don't want to share because I'm afraid of retaliation, that someone may call one of the top colleges and try to spread some dirt
Thank you, Mr.
on
Smith.
Faith and end that opportunity. I hope you heed my words. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any online? All right, thank you. We'll move on to item 12, reports of district organizations. Student Advisory Board, welcome aboard. Any reports?
Well, hello, board. So for SAB in July, we held our SAB retreat. We had about 30 members attend. We played games to build connections and meet the members as the new student board members. We also discussed our open committees. And then yesterday, we selected our 2 representatives for the Superintendent Budget Advisory Committee. And our next SAB meeting will be September 11th at Cordova High.
I don't have that much to add to that, but yeah, we selected one student advisory board member from Folsom from Vista to represent Folsom, and then the student from Cordova is from Cordova High, and they'll be sitting on the SBAC meetings with Ms. Roon and everyone else and give student input, so that's really exciting.
All right, thank you. All right, CSCA.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Swanson, Rochelle. I'd like to take this time to acknowledge and recognize classified staff that worked over the summer through summer help, summer work, our paraeducators, transportation department, bus drivers and aides, admins, campus monitors, ESC office staff, food service workers. With all those, it would have been hard to make summer school and work and be here today. I want to say a special thanks to maintenance and grounds, especially the guys working in construction. They were able to build 7 additional bathrooms this summer. White Rock received 2, Peter J. Shields 3, Gallardo 2. All special needs bathrooms needed for those sites. And our chapter meeting is on the 27th of this month. We have MOUs 21, 22, 23, 30, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 39, 40, 41, 42, and a side letter all to ratify. It's going to be a long meeting. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Corn. Folsom Cordova Education Association.
And Mr. Martin, you think we have a lot of MOUs. Evening, Superintendent, board members, certificated and classified staff, and the community members. Welcome to our first 25-26 board meeting. Congratulations to our 2 new student board members, Mrs. Luong and Mrs. Lopez Pataca. Okay, I look forward to hearing your perspectives on the issues that will be coming before you. And welcome back to Dr. Pitt, who I don't think is here any longer. I'm excited about our new organizational structure and how it helps move the needle for our student success. And congratulations to all the staff on their promotions and new roles within FCUSD. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Folsom Cordova Leadership Association.
Good evening, President Clark, members of the board, Superintendent Swanson, and my fellow colleagues around the room. On behalf of the Folsom Cordova Leadership Association, I also want to begin by expressing our sincere gratitude to the administrators that worked over the summer. monitoring summer school, monitoring constructions, remodels, hiring staff. Your dedication has laid the foundation for a strong start to our school year, and we deeply appreciate your commitment. This year, FCLA is proud to introduce our theme of cultivating leaders and supporting systems. And this aligns seamlessly, hopefully, with our district's overreaching goal of connectedness and coaching. And we look forward to some district plans to support new administrators in Folsom Cordova and embrace our coaching evaluation process, which some schools are modeling. Now, as we look ahead, we recognize the incredible momentum of our district. Our student population is set to grow by about 4.5%, which means we're adding about 950 to just over 1,000 new learners each year. So meanwhile, though, our numbers in administration has grown by only 1 over the past year. And this speaks volume about the efficiency and dedication to our leadership, especially compared to other industries where the employee to management ratio is about 12-1, where in education we're at about 22-1. So that being said, we will continue to rise to the challenge. And throughout the year, we will continue to celebrate our successes. We are committed to being caring, connected, coachable, curious, and accountable as we strive to improve each day to meet the needs of our students. So thank you all for your continued partnership.
Great. Thank you, sir. District English Learner Advisory Committee.
Good evening, President and members of the board and superintendent and my esteemed colleagues. I have a brief report with ELAC. We have not met yet. We will meet September 23rd, which is Tuesday at 5 o'clock at Cordova Lane Center. And that will commence our first meeting for the year. Important tonight, you approved 34 school plans, and as you recall, and you know, that ELAC is a contributor of advice to what the goals and the activities and actions that go into that school plan. So it is definitely a joint effort, of course, along with the school site council and the school team as well. So 34 school plans had the opportunity to connect with parents and get their input, and we look forward to continuing to make that connection with our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Board committee reports. I don't think there's any.
Yeah, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
I think we had 2 or 3 facility meetings over the summer from the end of the last school year. That Jen and myself participated in with Mr. Washburn and Mr. Martin, the superintendent. And then most recently, this past Monday night, right? Yes, Monday night we had a Measure M meeting with the Measure M Advisory Committee to talk about a potential for the next for a small high school, and that took place in Rancho Cordova. It was a very good conversation. I think the meeting lasted almost 3 hours. So, but that's all I have to report.
All right, thank you, sir. Any other board committees? All right, thank you. With that, we are going to close out our open session and enter into public hearing. All right, item 13, public hearing. Sufficiency of instructional materials, textbooks, instructional materials, incentive act. Superintendent.
Yeah, this is a hearing that's Williams Act. This has to happen every year based on some insufficiencies of materials and facilities years ago. So I believe it's a really supportive act to make sure that every student has a textbook and gets to go to a school that is free from insufficient facilities. Jim, would you like to say anything to that, or did I cover it?
No, you covered it, and we passed with flying colors.
Yeah. Always like that.
All right, good deal. Any comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, this is a public hearing. Any comments from the public? And hearing none, we will go ahead and close out this public hearing. And back to open session. And we are now down to item 14, discussion action item. Superintendent?
Yeah, if we could jump to B, since we've already taken care of A, and thank you so much, Board, for the support on that. This is also an item for Dr. Huber and the Education Services Department, but this is essentially adopting the resolution just based on our hearing for the Williams Act.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, out to the public. Hearing none, any online? I've been asked that in a long time. Okay, bring it back to the board for a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by Board Member Lofthouse, second by Board Member Chalamchoa. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, ma'am. Item C, approve contractor for lease back contract and adopt resolution number 08142509, approving construction agreements with Core West, new high school, middle school, and Folsom planning area. Superintendent?
Yeah, this is the item that we had our study session on, an item that was postponed from, I think, our June 5th board meeting. And so we're bringing it back up. I think Sean is there for the next item D, or are you here for C as well, sir?
I thought I was covering this item, but if you have questions.
How'd I do? Did I do
I'll let
okay?
Matt- Yeah, you sounds great.
Yeah, okay. So if there's any questions on this item.
Right.
Yeah, I'll take the item. And so, yes, we had a study session earlier today. We're asking the board to go ahead and approve the leaseback contract with Core West, so we can continue our process for the next high school.
Yes, let's do this. Any questions from the board? Comments?
My only comment is, or question, I know 4 to 5 is a study session, and this is a formal agenda item. And we unanimously sent this back a couple of months ago. Any tangible, I know, again, I'm just rephrasing it here in a summary. From last time to this time, what those things we have taken to tighten this and bring it back?
Sure, yeah. So what we did was we shared with the board a detailed analysis of the RFP process, including the scoring system that the facility team that was part of the process, the interview process, used. So we went through the entire scoring system. Additionally, we did do some additional background contacts and checks with regards to other completed projects. So Matt took care of that as well. And so we ensured that those pieces were in place to ensure. Also, we did work with Core West, and they have become signatories with 2 different trade organizations, which was a concern. I know that was voiced by some of the community members since that time as well. So at this point, we feel confident that the process is sound and that we feel comfortable recommending approval of this contract. So.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I just want to make sure this is a more formal way of summarizing things from last time to now.
Of course.
Right? Okay.
All right, thank you. Any other questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take it out to the public. Any comments on that? Any online? That will bring it back to the board. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by Board Member Lofthouse. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Reed. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, thank you, ma'am. On item D, adopt resolution number 08142510, authorizing the issuance of Folsom Cordova Unified School District, Sacramento County, California, election of the 2007 General Obligation Bond, Series E, School Facilities Improvement District 3. District number 3, approving certain other matters related thereto and ordering of improvements to be funded. Superintendent?
Mr. Martin.
Yes, good evening. And so
It's easy.
this was quite a wordy resolution. What is actually happening this evening is the board is actually going to be approving a resolution for Measure M, which will allow the district to use proceeds from Measure M outside of the SFID 3 area. This is because of a very specific project that we will be bringing to the board. And so we're going to pop up a presentation here, and we're going to speak to SFID 3, give a quick overview of where we are and why we're coming for this request this evening. And so just a quick reminder that SFID 3 is the area of the district that is located south of Highway 50, east of Sunrise Boulevard, all the way to the El Dorado County border. And so that area is SFID 3. For the majority of that area, that has been pretty much an uninhabited area for a very long time. But recently with the development of Folsom Ranch, along with some of the development of, what's the development, Douglas? Somerset, yes, Somerset development that has been in the Rancho Cordova area, there hasn't been very much development down in that area. But now, with all of the development, we have built 2 schools in this area, and we're continuing on in that process. So tonight we're going to talk specifically with regards to some of the recommendations that the Community Advisory Committee brought that we met on Monday with. And then we're going to, in September, come back and talk about the next elementary and comprehensive high school that will be built in SFID 3 as well. All right, so part 1. So we had an advisory committee that was created back in 2024 for the purposes of reviewing and discussing 3 questions that the board had put in front of them. One was with regards to Measure M and the fact that the tax rate associated with the bond proceeds that we had received to date was making the tax rate over $300 per $100,000 assessed value. And so one of the questions was, should we issue more debt or issue more bonds out of Measure M and continue to increase the tax rates? The next question was, how do we find an equitable funding or allocation between the 2 communities that reside within SFID 3 in the Rancho Cordova and the Folsom side? And then the final question was our first of 2 high schools that will be built in SFID 3, comprehensive high schools. Should it be located in Folsom or Rancho Cordova? The committee met, I believe, 3 times, and it was a representative committee of 2 community representatives from each of the board members, along with leadership from each of our labor partners participated in the committee. From that, they made 3 responses to those requests. The first one is they recommended not issuing any additional proceeds from Measure M to keep the tax rate stabilized that way, and that only distribution that they would recommend from Measure M would be to make some kind of adjustment to make sure that there was an equitable contribution to both sides of the district. Question 2, we looked at different models, and we agreed upon a model that looked at assessed value along with a debt service payment over the next 30 years, along with what had been paid to date, to find an allocation model that allocated the approximately $200 million of funds that had been issued from Measure M. Question 3, with location, the Community Advisory Group recommended that we look at the Folsom Ranch area for our first comprehensive high school, but also wanted us to take steps to find and build a small specialty high school in the southwest side or Rancho Cordova area of the community. It's question number 3 that brings us here this evening with regards to finding a location that's appropriate for this small specialty high school and to discuss plans for this school. Here you can see the allocation. This was the allocation recommendation that the Oversight Committee recommended. You can see there was about $200 million in bond proceeds, and based off of an assessed value tax payment methodology calculation, you can see the $204 million was allocated between a west, east, and an area wide of SFID3. Those dollar proceeds were with regards to the district office and some other activities. So, and then you see expenditures as of June 30th. We have spent about it's $204 million, and that's also the bond issuance. Those are just coincidence that the numbers match because we actually did use developer fees and some other dollars to spend on some of these expenditures as well. And so then when you bring it all together, on the top is the revenues prior to the allocation. And then with the allocation adjustment, you can see there that final available balances leave approximately $10 million on the eastern portion of SFID3, about $13 million that is in the area wide because it's just interest, which will be distributed between the west and the east. And then on the west side, you see about $100 million. That $100 million is the amount or the funds that proceeds that would be potentially available with regards to the small specialty high school. So the project that we're talking about, this is actually just a list of, with the next 10 years, all the projects within SFID3. You can see the new small specialty high school, we're gonna talk about that, and it's got the earliest opening date somewhere in the 27-28 school year. We do have our third elementary school on the eastern side of SFID3 with an estimated open date of 2028. Our comprehensive high school phase 1 on the east side, 2029, and then you see some other schools starting to start seeing west schools being opened up at that point, assuming the development occurs in those areas. Continue on to the specialty high school. So let's talk about this. So this was the information that was generated from the conversations we had with the committee. Again, this information was brought to the board, I believe, last year, and then the board also accepted these recommendations. We're looking at a small high school, plus or minus 500 students. We're gonna speak more about the programs, but as you can see, it's very comprehensive in that it's offering multiple pathways is the kind of the terminology that we're using, so that students have an opportunity to take advanced courses, A to G, independent study, as well as CTE and other trade opportunities. You do see a terminology that is new, early college. We have been using the term middle college when we've been presenting with the board. The idea of a middle college was the idea where students have the ability, high school students have the ability to earn college credit and have courses that are college eligible credit. However, we came to find out, the team shared, is that middle college is when high school students attend a college campus, say a community college, and that's called a middle college. Our program would be high school students attending a high school campus but earning and taking college classes, and that's called early college. And it's actually called out in Ed Code, so terminology-wise, just to update everybody, we'll be seeing the early college terminology going forward. And then, it's also including the reimagining of some of our alternative programs, and you can see those there, the Charter School Innovations, Kinney and Walnutwood. So on the next couple of slides, I'm going to speak on behalf of the Ed Services team, but they are here this evening, so they can answer questions. But again, what we're trying to do is something that is unique in that it is an opportunity for students to attend a high school that can check as many boxes as they're interested in, meaning they could come into the school and leave with a certification potentially in a specialty trade that would immediately allow them to get a job. They could potentially accelerate and be able to take college courses and leave the high school with an AA degree. They could potentially take courses and then move on to a 4-year college if they choose. So there's just a plethora of different opportunities, and then how they access those classes is also something that we've talked about with regards to independent study versus in-person versus trades and other activities. So, and you can kind of see all the key features here. I think we've talked about these. The board has discussed these ideas as well. And so one of the biggest pieces, though, is the opportunity to build a school that will be brand new with this cutting edge technology, with the ability to be flexible, to offer different pathways and opportunities in the classrooms that we have. And again, this is a unique program. We currently don't have anything in the district that combines all of these pieces. We have individual schools that do one or the other, but we don't have any single system that combines them all. The other exciting part here is the idea of working with partners within the community, local businesses, industry trade groups, to bring in, again, we could work with groups that will do trade organizations such as the plumbers or carpenters or other trades, electrician, but then we could also be looking at, we've had discussions about the opportunity to learn aviation mechanics because we're so close to Mather Airfield, right? Also, we've had conversation about artificial intelligence, and there are a lot of active organizations within that community, within Rancho Cordova and Folsom, that we can partner with. And so we're very excited about potentially those avenues and opportunities for students. So here's just some examples of some of the CTE program potentials that we talked about. We already have a partnership with SMUD. So this was something that was happening through Ms. Spears and her team at the CTE. They were able to partner with SMUD and looking at an updated, all-new electric kitchen so that it's more or less an opportunity to be a model kitchen system that they could bring in other organizations or folks to see. And so that was something that was originally planned for Kinney, but we're looking at bringing that to this new small school. First responder or fire responder, Sacramento Metro Fire Department. The team has had multiple conversations with the chief of the Sac Metro and their interest in engaging with us on a program for our students. And I think I have it on the next slide, but one of the things that was very interesting is when they shared what they're looking for when it comes to students who are interested in going into fire services, is that they're looking for people with the medical background, the EMT training, those certifications, not so much the fire suppression. They said they'll teach them how to do those parts. They want students or candidates who come in with those other trainings when it comes to the medical and health fields. And so those are the students that then get put up higher when they're doing the recruitment process. So welding is another program that we currently have at our Kinney site that we're excited to continue to expand through. Cosmetology is something that we've heard from our students and our community that is an area of a trade that would definitely be something of interest. And then you see some other options like mechanical, automotive, construction, and electric vehicles, which is obviously, again, something that's cutting edge. This is just some examples of some of the trades and activities. You'll notice several of them have Cherry Creek on there. Cherry Creek is a campus in Colorado. We're actually having conversations with the city of Rancho Cordova and collaborating on a site visit to see the programs and see if we can incorporate some of those trades into the activities that we're looking at for Rancho Cordova and within the community of our small school there. And this is just a slide from the original meetings that we had with the committee. When it comes to a small specialty school, we did a very rough number with the team, and we came up with about $100 million to build a school, a small specialty high school, approximately. Obviously, just the site development and land acquisition is a significant cost. And so that's something we had to take into consideration when we're looking at moving forward. So what we did end up doing is we reached out and we started working with Colliers, and Andrea and Steve from Colliers, and they walked us through some opportunities within some business park areas in Rancho Cordova that currently are being unused. So if you're familiar with the area, pretty much right there off of Zinfandel, there's a pretty large business park, and a lot of since COVID, a lot of the medical field that was in those buildings have more or less gone to work from home. And so the VSP building, Delta Dental, along with some other buildings, were empty. And so there is a more or less a depression on the value on those. And so there's opportunity for us to potentially access property at a reduced rate. And so that's something that we're looking at. So, and you can see there, benefits of an adaptive, we're calling it a reuse, is the terminology by the Department of State Architect, or DSA. And so lower construction costs, obviously because the buildings are already in place, speeds up the timeline for occupancy, We're reusing existing buildings versus starting from scratch. There's an environmental benefit of that. And then also revitalization of an area. The city of Rancho Cordova has actually identified that area. They're doing an analysis right now, a study to see how they can revitalize that area. And so the area we're talking about is, the building we're talking about is exactly right in the heart of that area. And so there's really an opportunity. Probably the single biggest challenge is updating a building from the mid-'80s up to current code. So one of the things with the Department of State Architects that we have to do is when we go in, we have to ensure that all the engineering, all the structural, all the energy efficiency, all the ADA compliance, all of those things meet as though it's a brand new building. And so there is a lot of analysis that has to do up front, and then of course some retrofit and modernization to make that all happen. So the potential location, we've actually at this point signed a letter of intent, meaning we have shown interest in it. We're doing our pre-construction type of activities at this point, where we're starting to do the analysis on the engineering work as well. But this is the location, 3215 Prospect Park, and I'll show it to you on a map here in a second. It is a single-story building. We did look at some two-story buildings, but the engineering required and the calculations necessary to get it up to code for a school under the Department of State Architecture would more or less make us have to put like an exoskeleton around the building, and any cost savings that would have been generated would be lost under something of that nature. So this really probably checks most of the boxes that we are looking for. You can see it was built in '87. The last use was as a more or less call center for Dignity Health. And so there's a lot of really positive features of this that work well for what we're trying to do with this small specialty high school. The next couple slides just speak to the DSA and the rehabilitation process or methodology to convert this from a private sector building into an education building. You can see quite a few steps. This actually, we had several more slides, and in fact, the addendum package that we had with this included additional information. It is quite an extensive process, but again, I think we believe that end result is still a better product at a lower cost and a faster completion. So. This is the building as well. You can just see some information there. It's actually, there's a common breezeway if you see between the two buildings there. One side is about 55,000 square feet. The other side is 46,000. Pretty much all the walls and the interior will be completely redone, finishes throughout. But there are a couple of features that we were excited to see. They do have a large cafeteria area already with a good kitchen space. They had a roll-up door enclosed warehouse area that would be really good for our trades. So when we're talking about having programs within some of the activities like welding and some of the construction trades, it would actually work very well for that. But really, for the most part, the building itself is a shelf for us to be able to make it into whatever we identify as the programmatic needs for our students in the school. So it's just a little information here. You can see here with regards to the original cost, we said about $100 million. Our projection at this point is, and this is a conservative projection, probably on the higher end, we're looking at about $76 million. So it equates to about a $30 million savings by retrofitting this existing campus versus starting from scratch and building a new campus. And to be honest, we will actually get a larger building, and there's some additional features of the fact that where we would be looking at building a school, it's in an area right now that isn't being developed. It may be some time before homes are actually developed there, and so this will be a better central location for transit purposes and other activities. So, with regards to timing, you can see here from design starting pretty much right now through the process. Occupancy is somewhere in that 27, 28 timeline. It probably, if we do a mid-year, it would probably be a slow rollout with the idea that probably 28, 29, beginning of 28 is really when we'd have the campus completely open and ready to go for students. Here's the location of it. And so one of the reasons why we are coming and having this discussion, the specific action, this resolution that you're going to approve is because of the fact that you can see the boundary of SFID 3 is right there, that red line on the left side. That is Sunrise Boulevard, and SFID 3 ends there. As the crow flies, it is about a mile or so from the location of where the building is located at. It is just on the other side. And this is why we wanted to make sure we met with our SFID3 subcommittee to make sure that they felt comfortable with this, as well as bringing this to the board for discussion. This is something unique in the fact that we will be using the funds for outside, but it will only be for this school, for this purpose. It will not authorize any other activities other than for this small specialty school. But when we spoke to the representatives that were both on the Rancho Cordova side and the Folsom side, they completely supported it because this is checking all the boxes that they believed that the small school was supposed to be. Something that was unique, something that would be impact the community in Rancho Cordova. And this is in the heart of the area. The city hall is within a mile as well. There is museums, industrial opportunities, lots of different commercial real estate and other programs that are occurring right in that area. And it's all being developed out or exists. And so it's a very, very, if you did not have the line there, you would say that's the perfect location. And so, yes, Dave.
Yeah, I think it's important to highlight the fact that even though it's literally on the line or right on the other side of the line of SFID 3, and even though this small high school will service the entire district, the way we're envisioning the enrollment is that since SFID 3 is paying for this, enrollment would open for SFID 3 students 2 weeks before the rest of the district. Because if they're paying for it, they should get first right at the benefit of it.
Yep, exactly. All right. So again, just talking about the rationale for the location, we did try to look within SFID 3 for a location that would work. Unfortunately, it didn't check all the boxes that we needed. There wasn't appropriate access for transportation purposes, for regional transit and all of those things. It wouldn't be central to the community hub that this would be. It's just, there wasn't any kind of building that was appropriate. And so this was the closest to that area to make that work. But you can see, again, reuse of an existing site, it's going to save funds that then can be reused for other purposes, which is a benefit for the students and the taxpayers. It accelerates the timeline of when we can be in the program. It will have a direct impact for the parents and the students of SFID 3, as you shared, David. And also it's really a win for the city of Rancho Cordova. Again, it's in an area that's a potential redevelopment area. And so putting a location with 500 students plus probably 100 plus staff moving in and out of there daily, that's going to benefit the community economically as well. And so we just really see this as a win-win for everybody involved. So what you're actually going to be doing here is doing a board resolution for issuing of bond funds, but we have no plans at this time to issue any funds. What this is doing, though, is it also includes the language that allows us to use any remaining funds that we have, which is the dollars that we're talking about here for this project, to access those funds for the purpose of this project and this project only. And so that's what the action that you will be doing this evening will do. So next steps. Obviously, passing the resolution. On our end, just so you guys all know, we have already been working with the seller of the property. We have usage access already, so we already are working with our engineers and some of our environmental folks to do the analysis necessary. We have the as-builts of the building, so we're running those through at this point. They're actually, it might even be today, they're boring holes, doing soil sampling, all the other things that are necessary to get approval through the Department of State Architects. So we're multi-layering the projects to try to speed up this timeline as fast as we can. We also had a meeting today with some of the leadership team with regards to the educational program and outcomes that we're trying to do with the consolidations of the programs and the creation of this new small school. And so we're excited about that. We're going to be bringing more information about that. That will be definitely presentations that will be coming forward to all of you and out to our labor partners and everybody else here in the future. So questions?
Mr. President?
Yes, Mr. Reed.
Yeah, I guess it's not really a question. It's more of a clarification, I hope. Yeah. A couple of times you mentioned small specialty high school. I would call it a small, exciting high school. I wouldn't really use the term specialty because it is going to be a high school. It's going to offer A through G. Mm-hmm. an opportunity for students, if they so choose, because they don't feel that they don't feel comfortable. They don't feel that they can thrive in a large environment. We have very large comprehensive high schools, upwards of 3,000 students. And those types of large schools are great. They offer a plethora of great opportunities, but they're not for everybody. So this small school provides an opportunity for somebody who might want to just get a high school diploma in a smaller, more intimate environment, and actually not take advantage of any of the potential trades. Yes, we will have lots of trades there, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily just a trade high school. You can go there and take your standard science, math, English, history, and graduate with and go on to whatever you're going to go on to. So I just wanted to make that clarification, that because especially would seem to connote something different, but this is an A through G school.
Yeah, and I think your point is very well spoken. I think that what makes it special in our eyes, I think, is we have not seen a school that potentially, at least in our district, that has so many different opportunities for students. A student could walk in there and do exactly what you're saying. Yeah. Go to school every day, all 4 years, do their program, and great. But there's also opportunity that if that student also then finds that they have interest in a trade and want to walk out the door with some kind of certification that allows them to be hired on as a welder, making $80 an hour, that's their opportunity too. Or another student who we talked about that maybe they've been their entire life they've been doing ice skating, and they want an opportunity where maybe they do want a class or two, but the rest of the classes they want to do an independent study because they have to travel, right? Then this campus allows them to do that as well. And that's the idea behind this is it is an opportunity where we are trying to eliminate the limitations or boundaries of a traditional school. And that's what makes it so special.
Yeah. The Measure M committee also had indicated on Monday that they had a strong preference that when we open the school, that we also construct a gym for the school. And from what we can tell, the property would accommodate a gym on that location. Partly, obviously for PE purposes, but also for a school to have a gathering place for community, to have class meetings or the entire school's meetings, and potentially even just because it's small doesn't mean there isn't potential opportunity for some sports, limited sports. You're not going to have a football field there, but you could have varsity and junior varsity basketball, volleyball, things of that nature. So,
yep, for sure. I think what I heard from the group was, yes, gym or multi-purpose. We'll balance those things. Maybe if we can find a partner with the city or some other entity that can make it bigger into a gym, that would be great. We want to make sure the dollars we can do everything we need to do. So,
correct.
You got it.
Thank you.
You got it.
Mr. President, sorry, go ahead, Kara.
Oh, I just had a question, and it might come when we're talking more about the instructional models and such, but something that does not even need to be answered now, but what, if there will be athletic opportunities for students that attend here in potentially our other comprehensive high schools? And then secondly, the same for VEPA, so different music and theater and those opportunities. So don't need the answer now, but know that I have a feeling that will be a question that comes up from community as much as from.
Sure. And, if you're going to have 500 kids there, you will have a large enough, student base to do some of those programs. One of the things we had talked about is there's also a potential opportunity for students that go to one of our comprehensive high schools, maybe to come in the afternoon for a class that's a trade class or something like that as well. And so we talked about shuttle service and transportation for those students as well, or the opposite, which would be students at the small school, maybe they do want to participate in a sport that is not offered, or if we don't have sports at the small school, they can then go to their homes, home location of school and participate in events there too. So it could go but back and forth that way. We're like right now we do have some students that attend like Walnut Wood that do participate like at Cordova High in some sports and athletics.
Go ahead, Jen.
Right.
Oh, thanks. Sorry, guys, I can't see you, so I'm like kind of flying a little bit blind. I did just want to like commend the Measure M group that came together. It's been a highly sensitive topic on the dollars, and I think that they came to a pretty quick consensus on this particular project. And there was a lot of really good, I think, excitement and being able to see this space. I'm excited for the other board members to be able to be in this space. It's kind of one of those locations that looks smaller on the outside, and when you get in it, you're just shocked at literally how much like opportunity there is for space and things like that. And then did also want to just commend our staff for really like jumping on top of opportunities that we haven't really like explored too much before, but really kind of coming up with some like cost savings to this, because it's like we were talking the other night is like, hey, we could go and there was some questions of like, hey, why would we not do a ground up, but really being able to take those dollars and push into like the most innovative construction for those spaces, so that we can provide the best of the opportunities and that we're actually spending it on the inside of the classroom and not necessarily just on dirt underneath the buildings. So I'm like very happy with how everything's been handled, and we had great parent sign off and things like that through this process, and I think it's probably one of the more exciting things we've been able to do collectively as a board. So this is a really exciting opportunity for us.
So, Mr. President, listening to my colleagues, especially David and Jen, they sit on the facilities committee. I'm going to put a request here. We can drop the word small from this process. It's a perception thing. The people say, oh, yeah, they built a small high school. Rather, a specialty school or high school. Yeah, whatever it is, the word. Small is, as we are thinking, we are going to be transporting and all those. I just want to put that out there.
I'm going to let you and David fight over the small versus specialty.
My request is only drop the small.
Well, when we come up with a name, it's not going to be X small high school. But yes, I get your point. I think probably a better way of describing it is that FCUSD is opening an approximately 500 student high school, I've been saying 800 maximum because I don't want it too small, but I don't want it too large either. It can accommodate like a couple hundred extra. So basically 200 students a class is kind of what I'm thinking.
Right. We have a Folsom Lake High School, so with 110 people, but small because we are doing more exciting things down the road. My only one thing is on slide 5, Jen is mentioning as well, and even Kara is saying it. Just give the credit to the committee. We have to be loud enough in our communication channels, put them in front. They are the ones, the public. And we only pick them to put as a committee. These 5 members, we are saying yes on what they are telling us to do. So we are listening to the community, especially, right? I really want, when we send the communication, as soon as possible, have a big letters on them, give all the credit to them. They are the ones recommending. That's the only comment I have.
Will do.
Thank you.
Right. Any other comments or questions from the board? Taking it out.
Can I say something really quick?
Yes.
I don't really know the whole context of this because I kind of just got here, but I think this is really cool and really exciting. I was like, me and Eveline were looking at the CTE programs. We're like, what? That's so cool.
Awesome. Any other comments from the board? I'm assuming there is none from the public. All right, bring it back to the board. Please keep in mind that this is a action item. It does need to be voted on, so I will entertain a motion.
I move.
A second.
Moved by Board Member Reed, second by Board Member Tromchella. Rochelle? I'm gonna get used to that, I swear.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Long?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Chorla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
An exciting aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Right, thank you, ma'am. All right, moving on. We are at item E, approve the proposal from Prime Design for value engineering and cost estimate services for the new high middle school in the Folsom planning area. Superintendent?
Yeah, invite Matt up because you pretty much said it all. This is value engineering. I believe this came after one of our elementary school projects, this real interest in making sure that we're looking into value engineering to save as much money and getting the most bang for our buck. Does that sound about right, Mr. Washburn?
Yes, Mayor, a previous discussion was the board's direction, also in communication with the developers, that we would have a value engineering third-party firm be a partner with some of our larger projects. So we conducted a RFP process. We selected 2 firms to our pool to be able to have value engineering services. We reached out, we worked with Prime Design to develop a proposal for cost estimating services for the new high school, to be a partner with the team, the architect, the district, the contractor, and them to develop value engineering, working collaboratively on the design and the construction, being able to make decisions to have a more cost-efficient design on the school, and also have cost estimating. So with that, we have a proposal here for approval for the new high school. It's good timing. We're just completing schematic design on the new high school, having an architect, a contractor on board, and a VE will be able to really dive into the plans and have a good project. Part of this, you'll notice on the cost, we are also reducing the cost from the architect by providing some of the cost estimating services here. So the cost of this is actually less, as you can see by the $206,000 that will be reduced from the architect's contract because of cost estimating service being provided by a third party. So that's good for some autonomy. So with that, we make a recommendation to approve Prime Design for value engineering cost estimating services for the new high school and middle school project.
All right, thank you, Matt. Any questions from the board? Any from the public? Back to the board, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move item E.
I'll second.
All right, moved by Board Member Chalem-Chorla, second by Board Member Lofthouse. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Long?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Chorla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, thank you, Matt. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Matt.
Item F, approve certificated assignments under provisional internship permit for the 25-26 school year. Superintendent?
Yes, sir. So what says there in the rationale, the variable term waiver is a document issued by the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing, the CCTC, when a fully credentialed certificated employee is not available for the assignment. This document allows the waiver holder additional time to complete credential requirements. You'll see these throughout the year, but this one, you see the teacher that's for on the rationale.
Yeah, those are pretty routine items that
Yes, sir.
will come. Any comments, questions from the board? None out in the public, none online. Back to the board, entertain a motion.
I'll move.
I'll second.
By Board Member Lofthouse, second by Board Member Chalem-Chorla. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Long?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Chorla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, ma'am. Item G, approve certificated assignments under provisional internship permit for the 25-26 school year. Superintendent?
Yes, sir. The CCTC authorizes the issuance of a provisional internship permit we fondly refer to as a PIP to an employee who meets the minimum requirements and needs additional time to meet the subject matter competence for an intern teaching credential. And you see a list of teachers there on this item. another pretty standard item.
And we can't expect those to come to us throughout the year as well, I would imagine.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any comments from the board? Out to the public? Not online? Back to the board? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Moved by Board Member Lofthouse, second by Board Member Chalem-Chella. Rochelle?
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Ms. Long?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Chella?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Right, perfect. Item 15, discussion, virtual public commenting, discussion and update. Superintendent.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. President. So this item is regarded to Zoom, and as anyone currently watching, most people are watching on YouTube, and they hear you ask, Mr. President, any comments to your right, and so often we don't have any comments on Zoom. Zoom comments have been a product from COVID and post-COVID, and what we've noticed over time is the number of people taking advantage of that opportunity has decreased from 36 3 years ago comments on Zoom, 24 comments 2 years ago, and last year only 12 comments. And when we do the aggregate or the division between the cost to keep running Zoom for the labor and the subscription to Zoom, last year with 12 comments and roughly about $12,000 expense, it's almost $1,000 a comment. You can see it's $962 per comment. So we as a district that are headed into, we heard the SAB members talk about the SBAC, that's the Superintendent's Budget Advisory Committee that's kicking off on Monday. We're taking an earnest look at all of our expenses to make sure that we're tightening our belt as we head into some unpredictable times financially, and want to do everything we can to save every dollar to save all the services that are closest to the classroom. And I am interested in moving beyond Zoom and stopping this as an option. At the same time, making sure we are still obviously offering as much voice to our community as possible. So we always post our meetings 72 hours or more in advance, and people are always available or able to come and make a public comment in person. We always will continue through Channel 14 and YouTube, be streaming our meetings live, as well as we have our Google comments that many of our community members already take advantage of, and they send in comments per a Google sheet that our board, and I believe you say it at the open of each meeting, Mr. President, that our board reads those, and then those are entered into the public record. So we still have the opportunity for community voice in every single one of our meetings, and I'm very interested in moving on and beyond Zoom, as it doesn't appear to be a viable expense right now in our district. And so it's nothing that needs to be voted on. I just wanted to communicate to you, as you see the background of this, it's come to the board several times, and I'm really interested in modeling what we continue to communicate to our district around saving money, and I think this is a really good opportunity for us to save.
Yes, Eric, a question I have, are there any other districts that are still doing the Zoom?
Mr. Superintendent, I can't answer that definitively. I do know that there are several districts that are not, but I can't say if any are.
All right. Yeah, I think it's time we move on from the Zoom platform. I mean, we get those Google comments, and I know I enjoy reading them throughout the day, and thank God they're, kind of sectioned off at 8:30, 11:30, and 3. So it does give me time in between work to look at those. Any comments from the board?
I have a couple, actually. I know you and I had discussed that taking comments up until 3 is actually pretty difficult, especially if we have a 4 o'clock study session.
Yeah.
So I would potentially appreciate maybe closing that a little bit earlier, especially for people that are working prior to coming to the board meeting, to give us more time to be able to look at that. That's one comment. And then my other question is, when you say that it becomes part of the public record, when the past meetings are posted, are those public comments actually posted and able to be read as well? Okay, I just wanted to confirm that, because I do think that oftentimes I would say when people do call and make a comment on Zoom, it's because they want it to be part of that public record. And so ensuring to the public that even those written Google comments are part of public record, I think is an important piece to this. And then we also talked about potentially, and I don't know if you had a chance to look into the possibility of whether it's even legal for those public comments if somebody wanted somebody to read it out loud during a meeting, say the president or whatnot during that public comment time, so that it is read out loud.
I don't have an answer to that yet, but I'm happy to look into that. And then I think it makes a ton of sense, I mean, with the board's direction to adjust our times, because so many of you, all of you, work on Thursdays, and between the last Google comment and our meeting, there's not a long window. And so a 2:00 cutoff makes sense to me, but I would like direction from you, and also reassuring the community that doesn't actually shorten the amount of time you can make a comment, because that's always open. Like, it doesn't open the night before and close at 2. It's always open. If you've got a concern, is that correct to say, Rochelle?
No, it actually, on a regular board meeting, it opens by noon the day prior to the board meeting and could potentially close at 2 p.m. the day of the board meeting. So that would leave it 26 hours that it's opened.
Can we open it earlier the day before, just to give even more time for comments?
Absolutely.
Like 8 a.m. the day before?
If the board chooses, sure.
So just making sure that we're not shortening the time that voice can be represented.
Mr. President?
Yeah,
one thing that I think for transparency purposes, as well as for the boards being able to receive these written comments, I wouldn't mind it opening up at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. the day before, and even indicating to the public that this is live, 36, 24 hours, 28 hours before the meeting, and that the board will receive 3 reports of the comments as they come in. And I wouldn't mind the first comment period coming in at 5 p.m. on the day before, so that the board has the ability to receive the first round of comments the day before, then maybe the second round somewhere around 10 in the morning, and then the final round at 2 p.m. And that way, we're not actually adding a fourth round that staff needs to deal with. It's just moving the times when we receive the 3 reports.
That makes a ton of sense. I would recommend the prior day being 4, just so it stays within Rochelle's workday.
Sure.
But then I know that we can communicate out through Parent Square. I look over to Angela, that what you're asking, Trustee Reed, around how the new times, and also even offering the link so people are aware of what's happening. So I'm hearing, if it's okay, 8 a.m. open the day prior, first report out at 4. Meaning, and for the folks watching, what that means is we get an email from Rochelle that includes all the comments that have been submitted at that time. So we don't have to collectively read them all at the same time. We can read them the night before the board meeting, and then another 10 a.m. drop, and then a 2 p.m. drop.
I think that's...
Yeah, that sounds good.
I like that. It's there a consensus with that?
I like that.
I am. I have one more.
Sure.
In addition, being a tech guy, I usually entertain more ways to people comment. Zoom is another one, but looking at the dollar amount, being I think whosoever has seen my meeting, I question too much on the dollars. I welcome this one. But at the same time, again, I'm going to put my technical hat. We can definitely talk with our Mr. David Stone. Speak to text. A phone line available, they can speak, it translates into text to the same Google form. We are giving them options to a seasoned grandparent. Sometimes hard to get into a computer, but he can speak by just calling that number. Nowadays, Google Voice, completely I did some research since we talked. So it translates, and it 2 cents. I'm just giving 2 cents per call. Explore, that's all I am saying.
Sure.
explore. Cost effective, 100% with you on that. But there are technologies out there. We are living in AI world nowadays. So, and it helps definitely the grandparents is, and they can talk and it translate and it enters into the same box.
Thank you, sir.
For this, yes.
Jen?
Not to put one more thing on, but is it possible for us on the Parent Square to send out the agenda link and the Google Doc link? Some comments have been that sometimes there's some challenges for folks actually finding the Google link, even though it's in there, but it can be I think for some folks it can be challenging to find it. But is it possible for us, like on a Tuesday, to just send out a quick Parent Square with here's the agenda and here's the link, just so that people are a little bit more aware?
Yeah, I got a nod from Angela. I know you can't see us, Jen, so
Sorry,
just
I'm really trying not to put more on staff, guys.
yeah,
Sorry.
no, I'm good on that. So just on 2 days or on the Tuesday before a Thursday board meeting.
Yeah, because then that would give them, if they're going to start on comments on Wednesday, that we've got that.
Yeah. Good. Okay. I think that's good. All right, guys. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Any other comments from the board? I actually love all the ideas. Yeah. So my question would be, how soon can we get this back?
Our next board meeting, I believe, is September 4th or 5th, that one.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take that.
No, just the changes.
Just the changes on there. Yeah. All right, and just for clarification, the board is like in consensus of all these changes, right?
Yes,
okay, even the talk to text, I mean, that's...
we'll look into that.
Yeah, please. All right, perfect. All right, with that being said, we'll move on to item 16, information. Anything? All right, then we'll go on to item 17, superintendent's report.
Yeah, listening to Rob and Jeanette's report, they totally stole my thunder because I just wanted to say, Rob's not there anymore, but I just wanted to say the consensus I've heard from our school leaders and the staff I've been able to check in with is like the best start of school in a really long time. And it's due to all of our classified certificated management teammates that have worked through the summer, and when all of our certificated folks returned, really hard on ensuring that their classrooms were ready, that our facilities were ready, that specifically on the first day of school, after I challenged our principals and challenged our schools to really hone in on making sure that our students, our staff, and our families feel really connected to their school experience, really showed up on day one. I had the opportunity to visit 7 schools, but our cabinet team, which is about 25, includes our directors, 25 folks went out and we visited every school. Every school got a visit from more than one cabinet member. And the consensus in our huddle/debrief at the end of the day, just every single school, they saw our teachers out greeting families and students, our classified teammates out and greeting students and families, our leaders out greeting families. And we saw a lot of, I'll call it vibes. Hopefully Evelyn shares a little bit about day one vibes when she has her second here, but just vibes at our schools, music being played, mascots out. And that really warms my heart because I truly believe as the superintendent of this district that I want every single student and every single staff member and family member to be excited to go to a joyful school, a school that is irresistible. And so my challenge while I was on Cordova High's campus to a couple Link Crew members while they had their Link Crew shirts on is they were really proud and they were really supporting the vibe for the students on campus. And I said, now the goal is to just keep that up for another 179 days. And they looked at me, I was like, oh man. So any of what I've shared doesn't happen without our classified certificated and management teammates. So I really wanted to say my most heartfelt thanks for all of their hard work and effort to get our year started off so great, so well aligned to our district focus on connectedness, as FCLA President Keith Shields mentioned earlier. So without a couple other things, just formally welcoming our 2 new SAB members. Really excited to see you up here. It was also excited to see Van and Mia out there too today. I didn't know they're so supportive. And excited to welcome Rochelle to the dais, as you've noticed, as well as say thank you to Robin and Martha, who worked so hard to make sure everything goes smoothly in this meeting. And then lastly, I'll close by saying to this board and just to our community. State Superintendent Tony Thurman is going to visit one of our schools next week to honor the great work we've been doing in supporting the reduction in chronic absenteeism. So Director Scott Meyer and his team have worked really hard with our principals and our school sites and our community schools and ensuring that we get young people to school every day. And so the state is rolling out a playbook for chronic absenteeism, and they are coming to our district because we're as leading the state. As you remember, Scott's, I think, 47-minute presentation he did last year, right?
48.
48. We're leading. So we're excited to welcome State Superintendent Tony Thurman to one of our schools next week. And then also a reminder to the community that ESPN is going to be at Grant High School for our Folsom Bulldogs versus Grant football game next Saturday, August 23rd. And there will be a lot of really exciting community building between our two districts. But I'm just really excited about the opportunity for some of our student athletes to shine in prime time. So that's it for me today.
All right, thank you. We will move on to board member reports. We'll start off with our student board members.
So as we know, we started school on August 7th. As I mentioned to our superintendent, with a very welcoming and festive atmosphere. There was music, balloons, and posters that we made with ASB's help. And then also with Link Crew, which I'd like to give a shout out to Mr. Krieger and Mr. Wegstein, who are the helpers for Link Crew. They were able to help out freshmen, find their classes so that they don't get lost. And then also with Link Crew, before school started, we had training to prepare for our yearly freshman orientation. It was fun. We met a lot of new freshmen, and I do think that they felt comfortable the day that they came. And then, let's see what else. Oh, I'd like to give the Cordova staff as well a thank you for helping organize a very happy first day of school, and the board for giving us a warm welcome. Thank you.
All right.
Microphone doesn't want to. There you go. Yeah, I had a really positive experience with my first day of school too. It's my first day of senior year was really memorable for sure. I woke up at 3:30 a.m. to go to Folsom Lake, and I was a little bit groggy at school, but the vibes were there for sure. This past week at Vista, we handed out class t-shirts. My senior t-shirt is Spider-Man, so it's swinging into graduation and there's Spider-Man on the back. And we also took a bunch of school photos today, so everyone got their yearbook photos taken and their ID cards. My favorite class that I have this so far is AP Gov right now. Shout out Mr. Hess. It's super interesting and makes me really excited for school every single day. Only date that I know of right now is that back to school night at Vista is gonna be next week. I think it's on the 21st at 6 p.m. So that'll be really exciting for all the parents to come and see our classes. Vista seems so much more full with a lot of freshmen this year. And yeah, I'm really excited for them to experience our campus and yeah, another exciting school year ahead.
All right, thank you. Board member Chella.
Okay, this is our first meeting. I think welcome back. That's what, we were talking about. It's all excitement. And as a part of that, I think I got a chance to join the leadership retreat and recharge. Recharge, I think a couple of weeks ago. It's really a recharge. I wish I could have put my Hawaiian dress, but the eye-opener there for me is looking at all the leaders who are making the changes in a young people's heart, including the high schoolers. It's amazing to see that many leaders under one roof. And also, along the same lines, I think I got a chance to go and see our new teachers' orientation, the 2 days one, hop in there. I was at Vista for something else, and I saw the new teachers welcoming. And I did talk to some of the teachers, and one moved from New York to here. I said, "Wow, welcome to Folsom Cordova!" Right? I really, gave him a warm welcome as well. It's so exciting to see that much brain power. Mr. Swanson is in your leadership, to make a difference for all our kids. And also, I started visiting, some schools already. I'm paying more close attention to that egress, ingress, peak hour traffic, and kids' safety. Hopefully, we'll make 1% better every time to make improvements. That's where my mindset is. And also, this is very important. I was talking to, what's her name? Jerry. When they were presenting at 4:00, the workshop, and I was giving her my own stories, how much stress goes into the people who are preparing all that information, even before that, evaluating all the bidders' proposals. I was telling, I myself was 6 months closed doors for $1 billion evaluation in state. I know how hard it is. I want to sincere, even though I was asking more process questions, but I kudos to all your hard work and all the activities you are doing closed door, for that evaluation. This is close to $500 million, give or take. After all those, Sean always says, what do we say that the rate goes up? Right? Escalation, right? It's going to be $500 million project, right? I know CoreWest is not here. Matt, you're here too. Yes, thank you, sir. Because, they pulled my eyes first. Thank you, Matt. And also, congratulate CoreWest as well. We'll be counting on them. And we have seen 2 elementary schools up there. I know, great, but some cost thing, everyone's mind. Hopefully, they will bring their brain power to propose in coordination with everyone a good school with a decent cost, right? Pass them, and sincere thanks to you, Matt, and Sean, you too. So with that, and again, welcome back, and good night, Folsom and Cordova.
All right, thank you. Board Member Laird?
Yeah, had a great first day. Started the day out at Riverview STEM. And that was like a really exciting day. It's so awesome to have students that, might be moving to other districts and things like that to take advantage of STEM opportunities to be able to stay in our district. So that was a really fun, cool morning, watching the kids excited to be on campus, and then went over to Cordova High, and definitely a vibe over there. And, talking with superintendent yesterday, they heeded you, and they have a new committee that's going to be working on keeping that spirit up through the whole season of the football season onto the other sports seasons. So they're going to be doing a lot more work in collaboration with my fellow board member Evelyn on the spirit. So that's really, really an exciting thing. And just wanted to just give my sincere gratitude. Some of the stuff that we're doing on the facilities committee is truly transformative. The stuff that the district's putting forth is really going to be some major changes and some really big uplifts on some of our sites. So just wanted to thank the facilities committee. I mean, they are grinding. I mean, it is not just one high school that they're working on, or this small specialty school, or whatever we're calling it, but it is elementary schools, working on RNS. I mean, they are working exhaustively. So just wanted to give them their kudos and their props for all the hard work that they're doing. And thank you to all the teachers and all the staff that, got everything ready to go for the first day of school. The campuses were looking immaculate and beautiful. And I know that they were working really, really hard, and, all the teachers having all their classrooms prepared and lessons ready to go. So just a sincere gratitude for that, and just really looking forward to an awesome upcoming school year.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Board Member Reed?
Thank you. Well, welcome back to all FCUSD students, as well as our certificated, classified, and administrative employees. The beginning of a school year is always a very exciting time period of, I guess, expectations and the unknown. And I was one of those students, I don't know how many are out there, but I could never sleep the night before the first day of school. I was the type of kid who just lied in bed staring at the ceiling. And so, yeah, just because I was excited for the first day of school. Just welcome back. I wanted to share with everybody. Unfortunately, last week I was traveling for work, so I was not able to be present in the district on the first day of school, or the second day of school for that matter. But I did get reports back from various folks who would attest to what's been spoken by the superintendent, the welcoming atmosphere that was experienced at campuses all across the district. So I thank the superintendent for that. I know that's one of your initiatives, and I think you got an A+ on that one. So not to give grades out, but you got an A+. And I actually, I live 3 blocks from Folsom High School. So every single day I pass Folsom High. And throughout the summer, I've been watching a small transformation occur there, which got me very excited because the school teal, which is not part of the school colors, were being replaced on the trim, the window trim, the doors with bulldog blue. So that was very exciting to see, which actually is the color of the school. And I even got more fun and exciting news that the green roof, because I'm like, the green roof kind of doesn't look right with the blue trim. Well, apparently we're going to paint the roof blue next year. So at least maybe? Is that what I'm hearing?
That's a Matt thing right there, but I've heard yes.
Oh, I'm hearing it's a strong possibility, but Matt's not going to be here, so we'll see.
Yeah, we happily retired.
But anyway, so it's exciting to see the school colors appearing on the exterior of the school as well. And then today I actually swung over because I know Folsom High, the new campus of Folsom High, which opened around 2000, hit the 25-year mark where we started to get funds to renovate the school, the facilities that are 25 years old. And one of the renovations that they did over the summer is they basically redid the administrative offices. So I was really curious to see what it looked like on the inside. So I went over there today and stuck my head in. And it looks wonderful. I really like the front desk area. It feels more welcoming. And they're still in boxes, by the way, but they're slowly getting out. The counseling center, I think the renovations there also were wonderful. And I think, this is, I would probably call this a beta test, right? Because I think one of our goals is to make sure that all of our administrative offices are more welcoming. And so, I think we'll learn school by school how to create the most welcoming environment possible when you walk into administrative offices, so much so that we'll get a Golden Bell Award for that because no one will be able to beat our administrative offices. So. But anyway, that's enough of me talking. Just welcome back to everybody. It's exciting to start the new school year. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Board Member Lofthouse.
Good evening. Welcome back to our first board meeting of the school year. We didn't have that long of a break this year because we met a couple times in July, but I want to extend a special welcome to our student board members. I'm very excited to have your voices and perspectives this year. It truly is one of my favorite things is having students up on here and hearing your voice. So thank you, and thank you for the commitment to bring all the student voice to the dais. I want to recognize the incredible effort that went into making the first week of school such a success. From our teachers and staff to our administrators, families, community partners, it truly takes all of us working together to create the welcoming, supportive environment that our students deserve. And I'm looking forward to all we'll accomplish this year. That's it.
All right, thank you. And last but not least, welcome back and welcome to our new student board members. We'll look forward to working with you all. I'm going to kind of piggyback on what Eric was talking about for next weekend. I am super excited because it's going to be a good game with Grant versus Folsom. And Eric, I understand that you have a wager with their superintendent?
Yeah, it's not formal yet, but it looks like we're going to be most likely betting Well, we'll be winning, of course. I'll be issuing a Folsom Bulldog jersey to him at a board meeting and just telling Dr. Steve Martinez, Superintendent Twin Rivers, thank you for all of his support of, FCUSD and all of our students, so.
Absolutely. And with that,
That's on the record, I don't know.
yeah, and with that being said, I'll put this on the record that I also have a bet with the president of Twin Rivers. It'll be a jersey swap or a T-shirt swap, however she wants to do it. But I'm looking forward to that game. It's going to be a lot of fun. And from what I understand, when the tickets go on sale, get them fast because they will sell out. I know over at my place of employment, we are opening up 2 parking lots as overflow. So it's going to be pretty packed. As the school doors open at FCUSD, we step into a year filled with promise and growth and, yes, challenges. Each of us, including this board, plays a vital role in this journey. And together we form the heart of a thriving learning community, both here in Folsom and Rancho Cordova. To our administrators, teachers, and classified staff, you are the architects of possibility. The road ahead is going to bring you unexpected hurdles, curriculum changes, classroom dynamics, and ever-evolving needs of our students. But your resilience and passion lights the way. Thank you for your unwavering commitment to shaping minds and nurturing hearts. Please know that I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see all of you at your respective sites soon. To our parents out there, your support is the foundation of which our students build their confidence. We all know the balancing act isn't easy between work, home, and helping with homework. But your encouragement of your students makes all the difference. You are your child's first teacher, and your partnership with our schools is invaluable. To our students, especially our student board members, this year is going to challenge you in ways that you haven't faced before. New subjects, new expectations, debates on the dais. And sometimes it will create some self-doubt. But remember, every challenge is a chance for you to grow. So I want you to be curious, be kind, and don't be afraid to ask for help. You are capable of more than you know. So this year at FCUSD, let's embrace the school year with courage, compassion, and collaboration. Together, we can turn obstacles into opportunities and make this year one to remember. And as I said at the welcoming address, let's have some fun this year. I mean that. With that being said, if there is nothing else, we'll move into advanced planning. Superintendent?
Yeah, so next board meeting is, I keep messing up the 4th or 5th. Okay, is September 4th, but I will say to the board, I am still working with Nicole Anderson. As a reminder, we had her on site on June 10th and weren't able to facilitate our governance leadership development. So I'm still trying to schedule her. We all came together on August 26th, and that's actually not available to her. So I'm working on some available dates for her and trying to get that scheduled at some point before the end of August or the first week in September, right? Yes. But if not, we'll get her here at some point in the future. So just be on the lookout for that as a special study session. But with that, our next regular scheduled board meeting is September 4th.
Right. Well, sounds good. Anything else from the board?
Well, if you want to jump to the 12-month board calendar. I'm sorry, Mr. President. If you click on that, the 12-month board calendar, I just want to say, if you can, is it a link there? Oh, can you open it? Can we open that? I just want to say for the board, if you're looking at the 12-month board calendar, Rochelle and I are working pretty hard with the agenda setters and making sure that we have a nice balanced board year around the timing of the number of presentations, number of items, so that we can have a pretty consistent schedule. I think last year, all of you will remember, there were some board meetings that we got out of here at about 7 and some we got out of here about midnight. And there are things that are unpredictable in running a school district for a year for all of us on the governance team, but we're trying to take control of the things we can control. And so if you're looking at the 12-month board calendar, we have them red, yellow, green. And as new items come up or presentations or future board item requests come up, we're trying to put them on board meetings that are less scheduled currently, knowing that throughout the year these meetings may fill up and greens may go to yellows and yellows may go to red. I just wanted to let you and the community know if you're seeing those colors, that's what those represent.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see how we do.
I would note that we appear to have one less board meeting this year. I didn't pick up on it until very recently. We normally have 2 meetings in the month of August, and we only have one this year. So that's all I was actually going to point out. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it, yeah. And then last is the suggested future agenda items. That's, of course, for you guys to bring anything up, but one of the directions that the board had, and I really appreciate Rochelle for working with me and the team. Everything has a date currently. There's no more TBDs except for the land trust. And the reason why is I wanted to ask this team, almost a year ago, we brought this up, Trustee Reed brought this up, and then it went to CSBA, and CSBA isn't doing any work on that. So we wanted to know, is there any additional work we would want to do on this, or can we delete this from our future agenda items? That's why that is the only one with a TBD.
What I would suggest, and I can definitely bring it up at our Board of Directors meeting on the 27th, where we are with at CSBA and their position on land trust, and then we can probably make a decision then.
Okay, and then we'll check in, and then we can potentially have an item if there's movement.
Well, one thing that I wouldn't mind doing is taking a look at this existing statute on disposition of property and redlining it and providing it to the board of what an amendment to the state's statute could potentially look like that would accommodate this. And then if the board was so inclined, through a resolution, encourage the introduction and passage of a bill of that nature.
Sounds good. So we'll combine that with what you learned from CSBA and then end up scheduling a date to come back to have that discussion. Does that work for the team? Okay.
I know, Mr. Swanson, you are working on a resolution for American River Canyon. Is that done already, or?
No, so I sent, so what that means for those that don't know is that San Juan Unified School District and our district were looking for potentially a joint resolution that codifies the language. For those who don't know, American River Canyon is in the city of Folsom, but some of it is in the San Juan Unified School District. So we've had an agreement for decades, plural, that students who live in that community can inter-district transfer into our district and are treated like FCUSD students. Yeah. And so the superintendent and I have met a couple times and are trying to codify some language. I sent that to you. Trustee Reed sent back some edits on it. I'm happy to send that back out because I do know that San Juan Unified wants to take it to the board as well. But we want to make sure it is in the benefit for us and our families as well. So I'll resend that back out to you guys tomorrow, so we can maybe get it to the finish line. Yeah. Does that work?
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Then I'll take you to their association meeting so that you can share with everybody.
That sounds great.
That's a great. I mean, again, we are going for the bonding. Okay. So we got to prepare. Yeah. Thank you.
Right. Is there anything else suggested future agenda items that we want to throw out there? All right. For the good of the order, any other comments? Okay. Fantastic. Meeting adjourned.